Chapter 5708. Seven Crown King sneered. Black River water surrounded him. It was the power of the river Styx. He was going to provoke him again. After a few words, the other party would come out. At this time, a cold snort came from the void. "Do you want to fight? Fight with me. Do you dare?" Hearing this, Seven Crown King suddenly turned his head. When he saw Lin Xian, his expression changed. He remembered that the other party had a treasure that could kill Seven Crown King in one move. So, he quickly defended. "Kid, don't use magic treasures." Brother Xian, Morong Qingcheng, and the others also exclaimed. The Crimson Dragon roared. "Use your universe ring to kill him." Lin Xian snorted. "I don't need the universe ring to deal with him." He used the Rinnegan, the heavenly path of reincarnation. An eye appeared in the sky. It was like an eagle, looking down at the other party. Seeing that Lin Xian didn't use the universe ring, the black-robed Seven Crown King laughed heartily. "Stupid thing. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." Seven Crown King didn't care at all. He used the river Styx. Immortal spell. Sea of Death descends. The power of the Sea of Death swept out and attacked Lin Xian. However, at this time, a pair of hands appeared in the Rinnegan in the sky. Then, a human silhouette flew out from the eye and charged toward the other party. With a boom, it struck the top of Seven Crown King's head. Seven Crown King's body shook. His eyes rolled, and he fell to the ground. He died. What's going on? The remaining two Seven Crown Kings who were fighting the Hellfire Dragon changed their expressions. How could the other party's power be so terrifying? The other party was already able to kill Seven Crown King with his own power. Yan Ruyu and the others were also shocked. The Hellfire Dragon looked at the sky. He narrowed his eyes. The power of the heavenly path had become stronger. As expected of the Rinnegan, Lin Xian sneered. "You really can't take a hit. How did you become so strong?" The remaining two Seven Crown Kings didn't attack either, as if they were facing a great enemy. This was because they realized that they had been targeted by Lin Xian. One of them said, "Why do I feel like his soul isn't being suppressed? Damn it, that's impossible, right?" The two of them were really shocked. They were suppressed by 60% here. Everyone was the same. However, if Lin Xian didn't suppress him, the gap would be very small. Lin Xian sneered. His opponent's guess was right. Everyone here had a 60% suppression. Yan Ruyu and the others had 50%. Lin Xian had been resisting the soul-severing saber all this time. His soul was only suppressed by 30% here. In addition, Lin Xian has cultivated a new unique skill of Rinnegan. Thus, his soul power was extremely terrifying. Now that Seven Crown King was being suppressed, it wouldn't be a problem to kill him in one move. Even if they were in the outside world, this move would still be able to severely injure the other party. This kid is too strange. Let's go. The Hellfire Dragon from before had already shocked the two Seven Crown Kings. Now that Lin Xian and the others had appeared, they weren't confident anymore and quickly ran away. Lin Xian sneered. "You still want to leave?" He activated Reincarnation Heavenly Tao again, and that phantom appeared again, attacking another Seven Crown King. He slapped the top of his head, and that Seven Crown King soul was destroyed. At the same time, Lin Xian's phantom also slowly disappeared. Lin Xian closed his Rinnegan, his face a bit pale. Currently, he could only use 2 moves. However, it was already very terrifying. In this situation, 2 moves could instantly kill 2 Seven Crown Kings. The last one was scared out of his wits. However, seeing Lin Xian close his eyes, he laughed. "Haha, your power is limited." However, his laughter quickly stopped because the Hellfire Dragon attacked. "Do you think I don't exist?" The Hellfire Dragon sneered. He waved his hand, and the hellfire flew out, turning into a hell sword and piercing through the opponent. In the end, this Seven Crown King also died in his hands. Lin Xian took these people's storage rings as resources to provide extreme weapons. He turned around and asked, "What's going on?" Murong Qingcheng briefly recounted the events that had happened before. After hearing this, Lin Xian was also shocked. He looked at Yan Ryu, who really broke through. Yan Ryu could instantly break through without receiving the heaven's punishment. It was really incredible. The Soul Emperor's methods were indeed strong. "Kid, this blood soul stone can increase chi and soul." The Crimson Dragon took out 2 stones. Lin Xian said, "You guys can split it. My Rinnegan has increased, and it won't increase in a short period of time." "Okay, then I won't be polite." The Crimson Dragon and the Hellfire Dragon each took 1. Lin Xian studied Qingqing's firmament wristband. He was also surprised. This is really incredible. He then looked at the other 3 treasure chests. He wondered what was inside the other 3 treasure chests. The battle ahead was very terrifying. Lin Xian's body shook, and he also joined the battle. He directly rushed to the Z Mansion. After all, they were sworn enemies, so it was no big deal to steal their treasures again. The Z Mansion was very strong, and they even suppressed the Gu family. The Gu family was very mysterious and powerful in space. However, the Z Mansion had brought many strong people from the depths of the deity ground. The Gu family was gradually at a disadvantage. The treasure chests were about to be opened by the Z Mansion. Boom. Not long after, the Mansion Lord of the Z Mansion opened the treasure chests personally. She broke through and became the 6-crown king. She laughed. "Great Lin Wuyi, I'm not afraid of you anymore." "Oh, really?" Lin Xian smiled. He also rushed over. "You're here just in time." The Mansion Lord of the Z Mansion was very confident and wanted to attack. However, at this moment, a white light flashed, and a little monkey slapped her face with its paw. The 3 seconds of dizziness left her completely dumbfounded. Lin Xian waved his sleeve, and the sword chi instantly pierced through the Mansion Lord of the Z Mansion, nailing her to a stone pillar in the distance. At this moment, Whitey grabbed something and turned to run. The firmament wristband. On the right hand, there was a 30% chance that it could ignore the opponent's armor. "Good stuff." Lin Xian laughed. "Well done, Whitey." Whitey shook its head. There's nothing good to eat." "Damn it, put it down." The people of the Z Mansion roared crazily. The eyes of the people of the 10,000 Knives sect and the Legend of Sword and Fairy were also red. They cooperated with the Z Mansion, and the Mansion Lord of the Z Mansion became stronger, so the treasure would definitely be theirs. However, now it was taken by Lin Xian. How could they not be angry? Go to hell. On the Legend of Sword and Fairy's side, a sword Dao master at the level of 7-crown king rushed over. Sky-cutting sword. It slashed at Lin Xian with great momentum. Lin Xian punched out like a dragon. His golden fist cut through the void and instantly pierced through the opponent. The man's body was torn into pieces, and he screamed crazily, "You ignore my armor?" He was really crazy. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was overjoyed. His luck was really good. A 30% chance was triggered in an instant. Chapter 5709. The battle between Lin Xian and the people of the Purple Mansion was very terrifying. In the vast universe, a spatial teleportation array appeared. The toad jumped out. After coming out, he quickly flew towards the Heavenly Court. The Heavenly Court was still very mysterious. The southern Heavenly Gate stood there, guarded by the godly armored giant. After the toad came, he released his aura. The godly armored giant didn't attack him. The toad said, "I want to go to the Golden Palace." "You're here." Black Mountain flew out. He was still wearing a black robe. Why? Black Mountain didn't go to the path of immortality. The toad said to him, "A great emperor appeared on the other side. I want to wake up the queen." Did a great emperor come out? Black Mountain also took a deep breath. The next moment he nodded and said, "Okay, come with me." The two came to the Golden Palace. The huge palace flashed with golden light. There was a terrifying existence sleeping inside. Black Mountain said, "Go in yourself. Whether you can wake her up depends on your chances." The toad flew in. There was a golden coffin inside. In that place, a woman was sleeping. She had a human body and a snake tail. She was very mysterious. The toad crawled on the ground. "Queen, please wake up and save us from the fire and water." He kept calling. 1 day passed, 2 days passed, and in the blink of an eye, 5 days passed. The toad crawled on the ground and called. On this day, the mysterious sleeping woman's eyelashes trembled slightly. The next moment, she opened her eyes. The sky and earth cracked. Outside the heavenly court, the wind and clouds changed. In the universe, the sky was broken. It seemed that it was all because of this pair of eyes. "Who is calling me?" A low voice sounded. The toad's soul trembled after hearing it. He shouted in surprise, "Queen, are you awake?" "That's great. Greetings, Queen." Outside the Golden Palace, the people of the heavenly court felt this aura and were shocked. Black Mountain led a group of people from the heavenly court and rushed over. They didn't expect that she would really wake up. That was a martial monarch they were talking about. There was no way they would dare to be careless. They all prepared to come and greet her. Inside the Golden Palace, the woman with a human body and a snake tail sat up. She looked around and saw the toad first. The golden light in her eyes sprinkled. "Are you his descendant?" The toad fell to the ground and said, "Yes, your majesty. My ancestor once followed your majesty. As the descendant of our ancestors, I pledge my life to follow you." The toad said again, "Your majesty, the green-robed emperor of the other side has awakened and is harming the human world. Empress, please take action to suppress them." The green-robed great emperor? The empress thought for a moment, and then she remembered. Was he still alive? It was time to settle this grudge. Had the time of the present been reincarnated? She flew out of the golden coffin and flew forward. Soon, she arrived outside the Roland's Golden Palace. As soon as the doors of the Golden Palace were opened, the aura of the martial monarch realm swept toward them. Black Mountain and the rest of the people from the heavenly court all knelt down respectfully. "Greetings, White Snake Empress." It was a spectacular sight. The White Snake Empress looked around. There were still some golden palaces whose doors were tightly shut. She whispered, "Am I the first one to wake up?" Then she looked at the toad and said, "You lead the way and follow me." "Yes." The toad jumped over. The white snake released an emperor's aura that enveloped him. In the next moment, the void shattered, and the two disappeared. They respectfully sent off the White Snake Empress. Black Mountain and the others hurriedly bowed again. In the next moment, he stood up and said, "From now on, everyone is on guard." This was to prevent others from attacking the heavenly court. After the powerhouses of the heavenly court received the order, they all activated their array formations. Even some ancient great emperor arrays were activated. Black Mountain looked into the distance. The reason he didn't go to the immortal path to search for opportunities and instead stayed here was because of the heavenly court. The heavenly court was very important. The Golden Palace here was where all the terrifying existences were sleeping. If the enemies of the heavenly court came to destroy it, someone would be responsible for guarding it. And he was the guardian. In the third hall of the Soul Emperor's tomb, the battle was still very terrifying. The third treasure chest was opened. It was obtained by someone from the Kuanping clan. Kuanping broke through and became six-crown king. Moreover, there was another treasure inside. It was a war boot. After wearing it, it could increase one's defense and speed. The fourth treasure chest was opened by someone from the Yi clan. Yi Daodenier broke through and became six-crown king. He also obtained a war boot. The others were gnashing their teeth. Even the powerhouses in the depths of the celestial land had ugly expressions. But there was nothing they could do. Although they looked down on the people of the outside universe, the ones who had attacked were all from great emperor clans. They had apex weapons in their hands. They couldn't beat them. Damn it, if you have the guts, don't use apex weapons. Let's fight one-on-one. Someone in the depths of the celestial land roared. Yi Daodenier shouted coldly. After putting on the war boot, his speed increased by 30%. He punched out with both fists, attacking the powerhouse. The powerhouse in the depths of the immortal path roared. He drew his bow, seemingly able to pierce the sky. His sword danced in the air. However, Yi Daodenier had an unparalleled saint body. His sword energy repelled the powerhouse. The powerhouse's body was torn to pieces. Yi Daodenier roared at the sky. The image of an immortal king swept across the 9 heavens, as if a god king had come back to life. The great emperor clans all had fortuitous encounters. On the other hand, the Violet Mansion cultivators had ugly expressions. They hadn't been able to take down Lin Wuti yet. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was getting fiercer and fiercer as he fought. He had injured many of their people. Damn it, in their moment of despair, a terrifying aura flew over from the distance. As soon as he appeared, his power swept out. The people around him fell back, coughing up blood. Not good. It's an expert. He's stronger than 7-crown king. Quick, defend. Someone in the crowd suddenly shouted. The others were so frightened that their scalps went numb. They all began to defend themselves. Come back, Daodenier. Your Highness, come here. The people from the great emperor clans roared madly. They used apex weapons to protect themselves. Whoosh. There was a flash of light, and a figure appeared. It was a woman. She came to the Violet Mansion Lord's side and said, "You're Lord Violet Mansion's daughter?" "Yes, I am." Zirua hurriedly cupped her fists and said, "Greetings, Senior." She was excited. She knew that an expert from the other world had come to help her. The Immortal Sword Sect, the 10,000 Blade Sect, and the other chosen immortal clans all bowed. "Greetings, Senior." They were equally shocked. Was this an expert from the other world? They were indeed terrifying. Any one of them was an 8-crown king. "Senior, it's him. It's this kid. He's gone against us time and time again. Just now, he even stole our treasures. Please kill him, Lord." The Violet Mansion Lord pointed at Lin Wuti and said quickly, "Oh, you're the enemy of the Violet Mansion?" Yulan looked at him, her eyes dark. She stretched out her slender hand and snapped her fingers in the air. Suddenly, a blue flower bloomed behind Lin Xian, enveloping Lin Xian. It restrained him. Chapter 57:10. A mere 5-crown king was nothing to be afraid of. Yulan shook her head slightly. She thought he was a powerful person, but she didn't expect him to be so boring. Get lost! Sealed by the orchid that suddenly appeared, Lin Xian was also angry. He shouted angrily, and his sword was like a dragon. The biting cold sword energy pierced through the clouds and slashed forward. It cut the orchid into pieces. At the same time, he snorted coldly. Someone from the Permitha realm? An extremely terrifying light appeared in his eyes. He can actually break my attack. Yulan was extremely surprised. Although it was just a casual attack, it wasn't something that 5-crown king could break. Not to mention him. Even 7-crown king couldn't break it. This kid was a bit interesting. The mansion master of the Purple Mansion said quickly, "Senior, you must be careful. This kid is very strange. Is he the 9-yang divine body, the successor of the great dragon, or the successor of the demon emperor? He has the great dragon sword soul and half of the sky swallowing jar in his hand." In the blink of an eye, Zirua revealed all of Lin Xian's trump cards. The surrounding people were shocked after hearing this. The people of the chosen immortal clan were also shocked. This young man was so extraordinary. No wonder he was so powerful. Some people's eyes instantly turned red. The treasures on this kid were all supreme treasures. If they could snatch one of them, they would be rich. Why would they want to snatch the great emperor's tomb? After hearing this, Yolan's eyes flashed with a trace of biting cold light. The successor of the great dragon, the successor of the demon emperor, and the 9 Yang divine body. These were all extremely terrifying existences. Even she was envious of them. It was a bit interesting. It seemed that this was a fat sheep. If she suppressed him, then she could hand these things over to the Permitha realm. She could also cultivate. Then her strength would also improve by leaps and bounds. Thinking of this, she snapped her fingers again. This time, the void around Lin Xian suddenly turned black, and 4 orchids bloomed from it. The leaves were like the chains of hell, sweeping toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. His sword energy was large and had the power to sweep through the universe. The razor-sharp sword Qi contended against the leaf. Yulan was also surprised. For a 5-crown king to be able to contend against her, this was truly too inconceivable. The people in the distance were even more shocked. Was this the power of the great dragon sword? It was indestructible. Older brother Xian, Murong Qingcheng, and the others were nervous and ready to attack at any time. Although Lin Xian was strong, the gap between them was too big. An 8-crown champion was enough to sweep through everything. Lin Xian also felt immense pressure. If not for the fact that his strength had been advancing by leaps and bounds, and that he had so many trump cards in his possession, he would not have been able to defeat Zhang Xian. Most likely, he wouldn't even be able to block a single attack. Even though he had managed to block his opponent's attack, he was still being suppressed. From the looks of it, he had to use some of his trump cards. Lin Xian's face was cold. The sword Qi on Lin Xian's body became more and more terrifying. Then, a dragon-shaped sword appeared in his hand. He slashed out with his sword, which transformed into an azure dragon, and flew forward. 4 orchids were split apart by the sword. This sword strike was aimed at Yulan. Boom! A deafening sound was heard. Yulan was hit by the sword and was sent flying. A sword mark appeared on her body. Half of her body was split apart. At this moment, blood was dripping nonstop. She had turned into an orchid, and many of its petals were broken. She screamed crazily. Her voice made the ears of the people around bleed. They were terrified and couldn't believe it. Lin Xian had injured the 8-crown king with a single sword strike, just like that. The people of the great emperor's family looked solemn. They knew that it was the great dragon sword spirit. The people in the depths of the deity ground looked at the great dragon sword with envy and fear. Some of the people who had been scheming against Yulan shook their heads frantically. Even the 8-crown king couldn't block such an attack. Could they block it? So what if he was the 8-crown king? Lin Xian snorted coldly. His arrogant words made everyone's scalp go numb. Yolan's broken body couldn't heal. This shocked her. However, she was also decisive. She gave up on the injured half and used the remaining half to transform back into her human form. Her face was a little pale. Good boy, you actually made me suffer a big loss. I've decided to let you taste the feeling of living a life worse than death. At the same time, her eyes bloomed with a biting cold light. The great dragon sword spirit was worthy of being a legendary offensive saint art. However, in your hands, I can't use its true strength at all. You don't deserve to have it. She stretched out her hands, turned them into orchid leaves, and crazily attacked. The leaves were like scythes. Wherever they passed, the void shattered. She had experienced the power of the great dragon sword. She didn't dare to be careless. Therefore, the leaves wanted to use softness to conquer strength and bind Lin Xian. The great dragon sword was one of the 5 swords of the world. The Nirvana Shore had the complete heavenly punishment sword. It was controlled by the Nirvana Shore Lord. When heavenly punishment was used, All living things would submit. She knew how terrifying the heavenly punishment sword's power was. Although the great dragon sword spirit was terrifying, it couldn't be compared to the heavenly punishment sword. Therefore, she had the idea of snatching it, whether it was for her own use or to give it to the supreme beings of the Nirvana shore. She would be able to achieve meteoric success. If she could get the favor of the Nirvana shore lord, it wouldn't be a problem for her to become a great emperor. Thinking of this, how could she not be excited? This time, in addition to her hands turning into leaves, a valley appeared behind her. In the valley, there was an orchid that kept blooming. 32 orchid leaves flew out. On them, there were mysterious runes of the law, immortal art, descent of orchid. In an instant, the entire space seemed to be sealed. Everyone retreated into the distance. The corners of Yolan's mouth raised into a sneer. The leaves of these orchids were not ordinary. The immortal art on them had extremely strong power. As long as they could pierce the other party's body, then the other party would be poisoned and fall into a deep sleep. Once they fell into a deep sleep, their souls would also be lost. Next, the other party would definitely die. There was a mysterious power on the leaves. Lin Xian's Rinnegan bloomed with radiance. At a glance, he saw those leaves clearly. They were extremely strange. Therefore, sword qi surrounded his body, and he activated 10,000 swords. Countless sword qi formed a storm. Then, Lin Xian used Qianquan sword again. Each flower and each leaf was a sword. There were countless sword lights in the world, slashing towards the leaves of those orchids. Coupled with the power of the great dragon sword soul, it was really invincible. The leaves of those orchids were instantly cut open. However, the 8-crowned king was incomparably terrifying. His speed was very fast. In an instant, he arrived in front of Lin Xian. It wrapped around Lin Xian, and even the storm of sword qi formed by 10,000 swords was enveloped. The sword qi and the leaves kept colliding, emitting endless flames. Sonorous sounds rang out one after another. Very good, I've got him under control. Next, I won't be polite. Orchids were a type of plant, but they were incomparably tough. Its leaves were as sharp as sickles, able to cut through everything. What was even more terrifying was its roots. Ordinary orchids could tear apart rocks to grow. With the bloodline power formed by Yulan, it was enough to tear apart all defenses. She wanted to suck Lin Xian's strength dry. The orchids in the valley behind him flew out and descended towards Lin Xian's head as if they wanted to pierce through the top of Lin Xian's head. Sensing this danger, Lin Xian also roared angrily, waving his sword qi nonstop. However, even if the leaves of those orchids were broken, they continued to coil around. This shocked Lin Xian. As expected of the 8-crowned king, he was indeed powerful. Chapter 57:11. When Lin Xian was in the Moon Palace, he had met the 8-crowned king and the Jade Drop King. Back then, he had felt like he was facing a great enemy. Back then, he had only faced the Jade Drop King and hadn't made a move. He didn't expect that he would be able to fight the 8-crowned king now. His great dragon sword soul had appeared, but it still couldn't kill the other party. This made him feel a sense of danger. Because he had clearly seen the people from the other side, this woman was only one of them. She wasn't the strongest among the quasi-emperors. Other than her, there were other 8 crowned kings. More importantly, there was a green-robed great emperor above them. Although it was only half a body, it was still a true great emperor. Lin Xian had sent the half-frog away with the demon emperor's demon palace. Now, the half-frog wasn't restrained. If it attacked him, the consequences would be unimaginable. He wondered how the toad was doing. Lin Xian thought of many things in an instant. At this moment, Yulan sneered. "You dare to be distracted while fighting me? You really don't know what's good for you." She snapped her fingers again, and a dense fog appeared above the leaves. Plop, plop. Some of the surrounding chosen immortal clan members smelled it and immediately fell into a deep sleep. Not good. Retreat. What is this? They were all terrified. In the blink of an eye, a group of quasi-emperors had fallen. Was this the 8 Crown Kings method? They were going crazy. The remaining quasi-emperors retreated, their faces full of despair. When the people of the Purple Mansions saw this scene, they became excited. Great Linwoody, let's see how you die this time. The people of the 10,000 Blades sect and the Immortal Sword sect also snorted. In their opinion, the other party would definitely not be able to resist. Lin Xian also felt his eyelids grow heavy. His soul felt like it was going to fall into a deep sleep. Are they poisonous? Humph. With a snort, the great dragon's sword Qi cut the poisonous creatures apart again. At the same time, Lin Xian attacked. He used the tornado to block the blue flower's absorption. The reincarnation in his eyes shone brightly as he summoned the reincarnation sword. Boom! Between the heavens and the earth, the phantom of a giant sword quickly condensed and slashed down mercilessly. At this moment, everyone felt as if their souls were about to be extinguished. What is this? Yulan's pupils shrank. She didn't expect her opponent to have such an attack. In the next moment, she was struck by the sword, and a crack appeared on her soul. She released a miserable cry, backing up in retreat, blood dyeing the 9 heavens. Lin Xian's face was also pale. With his current attack, he could only use the Samsara sword twice. However, he did not use it a second time. The surrounding experts were still eyeing them covetously. It was impossible for him to let himself become weak. However, he did not stop there. The firmament gauntlet on his left hand combined with the boundless demonic qi to form a powerful attack. Demonic shadows appeared behind him. This punch was aimed at Yulan, ignoring her armor. With a boom, Yulan was sent flying, and a fist mark appeared on her body. His internal organs were all torn apart. He was seriously injured again. This made her go mad. Her soul split apart, and her body was injured. She had actually been defeated by a quintuple crown champion. This was impossible. Zirua and the others were also stunned. How could this be? To be honest, if Lin Xian had used the heaven-swallowing jar, they had the dragon pattern cauldron on their side. However, Lin Xian had defeated 7 crown champion without using an extreme weapon. This made them feel fear. Boom! The great dragon sword spirit swept in all directions. The surrounding orchid leaves were torn to shreds after losing the power to sustain them. The orchid above their heads was also blasted away. Lin Xian sneered. 8 crown champion, you're just SOSO. Didn't you want to absorb my power? Let's see who swallows who. Suddenly, he took out the heaven-devouring jar and struck forward. A black vortex appeared and enveloped Yulan. No, Yulan was also shocked when she felt this strange aura. Yulan was the same. She roared crazily. Is he crazy? He dares to use an extreme weapon here? In the next moment, the power of the great emperor emerged from the depths of the tomb and attacked Lin Xian. It turned into a terrifying palm that covered the sky and slapped over. Lin Xian quickly retreated. Murong Qingqing flew over and blocked the attack with the desolate tower. Lin Xian's blood boiled, but he sneered. At this moment, the black light had already enveloped Yulan. Yulan was terrified. Cracks appeared on her body. This was the power of an extreme weapon. Even though she was 8 crown champion, she couldn't resist it. Why aren't you attacking? Yulan stared at the Purple Mansion Lord. She also felt the power of an extreme weapon from him. Zirua had no choice but to use the dragon pattern cauldron to attack the black vortex with 2 giant dragons. They saved Yulan. However, in the next moment, they were greeted by the power of the great emperor. A godlike palm fell mercilessly and sent all the people of the purple mansion flying. Although they were protected by the dragon-patterned cauldron, they still vomited blood. This was the punishment for using an extreme weapon. Go, Yulan shouted angrily. These people quickly retreated and left the third hall. Did they leave? The surrounding people were all stunned. That was the 8-crown king, and he was actually beaten back. This Lin Wuyi was too strong. As expected of a legendary person, he was terrifying. The great emperor clans were even more shocked, whether it was in the outside universe or in the deity land. Lin Wuyi was as arrogant as ever. Protect me, Lin Xian said, and sat down cross-legged. The image of the sword world appeared behind him. Previously, he had used an extreme weapon and the power of the great dragon sword spirit, which consumed a lot of energy. He quickly recovered. After this battle, he had a new understanding of the Qinquan sword technique. The next time he used it, it should be even more powerful. Moreover, Lin Xian felt that his sword qi was only one aspect. He should also create his own inheritance. Every martial monarch had a complete inheritance. It didn't only include attack, but also recovery, healing, speed, defense, and so on. Lin Xian decided to create an ancient scripture like this. The Qinquan sword technique was just an experiment. Next, he would continue to perfect it. When the people in the deity land saw Lin Xian sitting there cross-legged, their eyes flickered. Some experts in the deity land secretly discussed, should we make a move? He had many supreme treasures, including the great dragon sword spirit and the great emperor's ancient scripture. Those were all things they were jealous of. Forget it, let's not make a move for now. Although he consumed a lot of energy, the two women next to him also had extreme weapons in their hands. It would be difficult for them to touch him with 3 extreme weapons. Humph, not necessarily. We still have a chance. He offended the Otherworld Immortal King. This time, the Otherworld Immortal King has a true great emperor. When the time comes, the kid will die. Maybe we can wait for the right time and benefit from it. These people discussed animatedly. They looked at Lin Xian with killing intent in their eyes, but they hid it well. However, at this moment, Lin Xian suddenly opened his eyes. He said, "Kill those people." Chapter 57:12. Lin Xian stared at the two people in front of him. These two were experts from the chosen immortal clan. They came from the depths of the deity ground. However, at this moment, under Lin Xian's gaze, they both trembled. Damn it! The two of them shouted angrily. At this moment, the Hellfire Dragon attacked, and so did Yan Ruyu. The Hellfire Dragon was the 7-crown king. He was extremely terrifying. Yan Ruyu might be the 6-crown king, but he was the descendant of the great emperor. He also had the inheritance of the 7-crown king. Not long after, the two of them were killed. The people around felt their scalps go numb. Someone shouted angrily, "What right do you have to be so arrogant? Do you really want to be enemies with the world?" Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. "Why would I kill them? Don't you know? Aren't all of you discussing when you're going to steal my treasures? Do you really think I don't know? Or do you think I can't hear you? I have the power of reincarnation. If you're too close to me, I'll be able to hear your voice transmissions." What? Hearing this, the people around felt their scalps go numb. Was his soul already this strong? Damn it. They all retreated in fear. Lin Xian stood up and laughed. So what if I'm enemies with the world? When I was in the universe, it's not like I didn't make enemies with the world. However, what can they do to me? The people from the chosen immortal clan were shocked. The people from the emperor race were also silent. Lin Xian was too arrogant. He was extremely arrogant. However, no one could stop him. Even the 8-crown king lost. The other party's aura was extremely strong. At this moment, the people from the divine union also looked around. They formed a force so strong that no one dared to get close. Everyone lowered their heads, in the face of this power. Humph, Lin Xian snorted. So, what if it's the deity ground? So what if it's the other side? No one could stop him. At this moment, Lin Xian had a new realization. He decided to open his own path. In the end, I will walk on a heaven-defying path. Let's call it the heaven-defying art. Lin Xian's eyes flickered with a cold light. This would be the name he would pass down after he became a great emperor. On the other side, in the passageway between the second and third halls, Zifu and the others were stunned. Every single one of them had wounds on their faces. Yulan gritted her teeth and took out a large number of pills from her storage ring and swallowed them. Abominable. This is too abominable. This time, he was actually defeated by a quintuple crown king. This was something he could not accept. Revenge. He had to get revenge. He had to make the other party suffer a fate worse than death. Later, when we kill our way back, use your extreme Dao weapon to defend and prevent him from using the heaven-swallowing jar to launch a sneak attack. Yulan said to Zirua. Zirua, however, frowned. She said, if we compare extreme weapons, we can't beat him. His companions also have 2 extreme weapons. After Yulan heard this, she frowned. How could there be such a heaven-defying existence in the outside universe? Senior, I have an idea. However, Zirua spoke up. Yulan said, what do you think? Zirua said, in the second hall, there is a saber called the soul-severing saber. Senior, is there any way to borrow the power of an extreme Dao weapon to control the soul-severing saber? This soul-severing saber is very powerful and can sever a person's soul, even if that kid has the Rinnegan and can summon the reincarnation sword. So, what? I think it's not as powerful as the soul-severing saber. After all, he is only a quintuple crown king. Good idea. Yulan's eyes lit up. Indeed, the other party was only a quintuple crown king. If he was an 8-crown king, he might be able to use the reincarnation sword and instantly kill her. However, the other party was 3 realms lower than her. This gave her a chance. Although the reincarnation sword could injure her, it was not enough to completely kill her. If she had the soul-severing saber, she could definitely kill the other party. All right, let's do it. Let's go to the second hall and seize the soul-severing saber. Yulan was confident. Although she did not have an extreme Dao weapon, she had many secret techniques. These were all immortal techniques from Permitha. They were incomparably mysterious. With her immortal techniques and the power of the dragon pattern cauldron in Zirua's hands, it was not impossible. Many people were still entering the second hall. Their faces were filled with fear. The soul-severing saber was too powerful. Half of them had been killed by the soul-severing saber and had arrived later than the rest of the group. However, there were also a few experts among them. One of them was a woman surrounded by great Dao. She was extremely terrifying. She was Zhong Lingxiu, with the born Taoism aptitude. Another person was so fast that no one could beat him. He was Chao Tiansheng, a member of the Light Tribe. There was also a very strange person. He had the head of a dog and protruded fangs. It was as if he could swallow everything. He was the dog-headed Taoist. These 3 people knew Lin Xian and had fought with him before. The 3 of them were very powerful. He had not heard of them before. He did not expect them to enter the deity ground. They had even come to the tomb of the great emperor. Although the soul-severing saber was dangerous, the 3 of them could dodge it with their own methods. It seemed that hiding was not a solution. They had to think of a way to break the formation. Chao Tiansheng's eyes shone with a sharp light. Zhong Lingxiu and the dog-headed Taoist's eyes were also shining. The 3 of them were ready to join forces. However, at this moment, the formation suddenly shattered. A team charged in from the outside. Who was it? So terrifying. The dog-headed Taoist was shocked. Even Lord Dog was not so arrogant. Did someone come back? Zhong Lingxiu frowned. The great Dao around her spread even more. She said, The power of an extreme weapon. Is it the great emperor's family? Chao Qianqing's speed was even faster. He rushed out in an instant. No matter who it was, an extreme weapon was enough to threaten him. Therefore, he dodged in an instant. How fast? Yulan exclaimed. This time, they had broken the formation from the outside and charged in. However, she seemed to have sensed someone flying over. Even with her strength as the eight-crown king, she could not see clearly. This person's speed was terrifying. However, she did not observe carefully. Her main goal now was to take the soul-severing saber. In the next moment, Yulan arrived at the second hall. Countless people were deeply shocked. What a terrifying power! The dog-headed Taoist gasped. Eight-crown king, damn it! How could there be such a terrifying person? So, it was someone from the Purple Mansion. Zhong Lingxiu sighed. In the next moment, the great Tao on her body intertwined. She pierced through the void and left quickly. The dog-headed Taoist also ran away. He transformed into a big dog and was very fast. See, Ruo shouted angrily. She wanted to attack again, but she realized that the two guys were running very fast. She snorted. However, the others were not so lucky. Seal. A beam of light appeared in her hand. Countless orchids flew out and grew on the heads of these people. These people were all controlled. Their faces were all twisted. Chapter 57:13. The people following her felt their scalps go numb. They didn't think much of the eight-crown king's defeat. Now that they saw Yulan's methods again, they were terrified. Her opponent was defeated because of the extreme weapon and the dragon sword soul. However, compared to the other boundary emperors, she was still a supreme existence. Didn't you see how she controlled hundreds of boundary emperors who could compare with such methods? After Yulan controlled those experts, she said to Xilan. He then said to Ruo, let's begin. You activate the extreme grade weapon, and I will use these people as puppets. Draw out the soul cutter. Next, I'll use an immortal technique. The two of us will work together to control the soul cutter. Xilan walked out and took a deep breath. They started to move. On Lin Xian's side, after he recovered his strength, he went on his way again. The front was pitch black. However, he still walked over resolutely. Since he wanted to go against the heavens, he wasn't afraid of anything. The people of the Divine Union followed the other great emperor clans and chose an immortal tribe. They were nervous. They didn't know what was waiting for them ahead. Lin Xian was still fine. He looked serious. On the other hand, Qingcheng and Rui were injured. Their delicate faces were covered in dust. On the Crimson Dragon's side, there were a few cracks on the array. Obviously, the previous battle had put them under a lot of pressure. There was a huge crack in front of them. It looked like an abyss that had been split in half by a sword. An extremely terrifying death aura was emitted from there. Even the Hellfire Dragon frowned. He said, "Kid, I have a bad feeling. It seems like some kind of power is emerging." Hearing the Hellfire Dragon's words, the surrounding people were nervous. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, 24 black coffins flew out from the crack in front of them. Then they formed an array in the air and enveloped everyone. There were black coffins in all directions in the sky and on the ground. With a crack, the black coffins opened. A monstrous death aura filled the air. One figure after another walked out from the crowd. 24 figures. Some had long swords on their backs, some had chains in their hands, and some had giant blades on their backs. These people were tall, short, fat, thin, young, old, and beautiful. Furthermore, the flesh on these people's bodies were all rotten and emitted a corrosive smell. It made people frown deeply. Their Taoist robes were also in tatters. These were dead people, but they had been summoned by someone. Not good. These people seemed to be 7 crown kings. 24 7-crown champions. That was an extremely powerful force. Furthermore, these people could be controlled by others. This meant that they were all extremely terrifying existences among 7 crown kings. Ancestor! Kaiser Blood exclaimed in shock, his body trembling. Lin Xian frowned. What's going on? Kaiser Blood said, the one with the blood-colored saber is our chosen immortal clan's ancestor. When I was a teenager, I had heard of him. The blood race members were all stunned. This was their ancestor's ancestor. How frightening was this? After the Blood Clan, a few other misters also shouted out, Ancestor! Ancestor! The patriarch of that year. These people were all crazy. Damn it. Was this the Soul Emperor's method? This was too hateful. Even our ancestor was dead. He didn't let it go. Someone shouted angrily. However, a bolt of lightning struck down from the sky, directly killing that person's soul. Everyone's scalp went numb. Some people paled. Idiot! Cursing the Soul Emperor in front of the Soul Emperor's tomb. Did he want to die? The others hurriedly shook their heads. To be disrespectful to the Soul Emperor, here was courting death. Everyone was shocked, as if they were facing a great enemy. However, Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. His Rinnegan bloomed with a mysterious light. He felt a familiar aura. It was related to the 6 paths of reincarnation. Lin Xian looked around, but the surroundings were pitch black. His soul was still suppressed here. Moreover, the suppression was even more terrifying. He felt that the people around him were suppressed by 70%. Lin Xian should be suppressed by 50% of his soul. It was too terrifying. Everyone's faces became incomparably pale. They could only defend. Older brother Xian, this place is so terrifying. Even though we were tempered by the soul-splitting saber before, even though we had been suppressed by the Soul Emperor, it seemed that there was more than 60% suppression. It was almost 70%. Lin Xian frowned. Could it be that it had something to do with the 6 paths of reincarnation? He had indeed sensed a familiar aura. He only had one Rinnegan. He could use the Heavenly Tao, Earth Tao, and Human Tao. In addition, there were 3 other paths in the 6 paths. They were the Azura Path, the Hungry Ghost Path, and the Hell Path. They represented different powers. If it was the power to control corpses, then it should be the Hell Path. Could it be that this place had the power of the Hell Path in the 6 paths of reincarnation? Lin Xian was extremely excited. This power was also incomparably mysterious. He was just curious. He didn't know where the other Rinnegan was. Was there anyone who could condense it? Boom. At this time, the ancient powerhouses who walked out of the coffins in front began to move. Among them, a woman took out a bow, an arrow in her hand. It was a big black bow. It was incomparably heavy. As soon as it appeared, it shook the void. Then the power in her body condensed into sword chi. With a stab, tens of thousands of arrows shot out. Like a rain of arrows, they fell down. Not good. Quickly block. Everyone's soul was suppressed, so they quickly blocked. Some people used immortal spells while others used divine abilities. Terrifying phantoms, physiques, and shields began to block these. For a moment, countless flames filled the air, extremely dazzling. Boom. Not long after, someone screamed. On the black demon race's side, many people were instantly pierced. Their bodies turned into corpse water. Damn it, what a strong corrosive power. On the black demon race's side, someone condensed and formed a huge black demon shield. It stood indomitable like a huge mountain, but it was instantly melted. Dozens of figures behind shattered. Damn it, it was too scary. Boom. At this time, a man with a long saber on his back walked out. The blood-colored long saber was displayed, like a blood dragon, bearing its fangs and brandishing its claws, killing a portion of people. Next, 24 powerhouses attacked one after another. In the end, an overwhelming power covered the sky and earth. It enveloped everyone. Quick, break out of the encirclement. They could either retreat or kill their way forward. No one dared to delay. They identified a direction and quickly broke out. A great battle broke out in an instant. On Lin Xian's side, countless green lotuses bloomed. Yan Ryu used an extreme defense. At the same time, she asked, Lin Xian, what are you going to do? Everyone looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, I feel the power of the 6 paths of reincarnation here. Perhaps one of them is here. I'm going to take a look. The 6 paths of reincarnation? Morong Qingcheng and the others were also shocked after hearing this. Such a mysterious power was actually here. Could it be that the Soul Emperor had once controlled the 6 paths of reincarnation? No one knew. The Hellfire Dragon also narrowed its eyes. I heard that the 6 paths of reincarnation had several masters. Chapter 57:14. Lin Xian frowned when he heard that. At this moment, DeLong also spoke. He said, the Samsara sword has indeed had several masters. The last one was the Samsara master. However, after him, the Samsara sword has been broken. The power of the Samsara sword has also been scattered throughout the universe. Lin Xian was surprised. He asked, where is the Samsara master? Is he dead? DeLong sighed. He turned into the Samsara master to protect everyone. When the time is right, he will return. Lin Xian did not understand. DeLong did not explain further. However, he had his own conjecture. The Samsara sword had been broken. The Samsara master had turned into the Samsara sword, causing the power of the Samsara sword to be scattered. For example, there was a sect called the 6 Tao sect on Burial Earth that had the Samsara body. Thinking about it, the founder of the 6 paths of reincarnation must have obtained a trace of the power of reincarnation. The Rinnegan might have been transformed by the power of the Samsara sword. Of course, that was not all. Therefore, the Rinnegan should be able to summon the Samsara sword. As if seeing Lin Xian's conjecture, DeLong added, when the Samsara master turned into the Samsara sword, he took away most of the power of the Samsara sword. The remaining Samsara sword formed the lesser 6 Tao sect. Lin Xian was extremely shocked. What kind of battle had happened back then? Even the Samsara sword had been broken. Even the Samsara master seemed to have fallen and turned into the Samsara sword. Was there really such a terrifying existence in the depths of the Permitha? He asked DeLong. DeLong said, the Permitha is terrifying. The power they have is too frightening. Even the power of the 6 Tao sect was estimated to be partly controlled by the Permitha. Of course, it was the power of the lesser 6 Tao sect. Therefore, you have to be careful. If there was really the Hell Tao of the 6 Tao sect here, the people of the Permitha would not let it go. Lin Xian took a deep breath. His expression became extremely solemn. The 24 ancient powerhouses around him had already started to attack. The laws engulfed everything, including the people of the Divine Union. Everyone fought and retreated. Lin Xian quickly rushed over. The power of Rinnegan bloomed. The illusion of the 6 paths of reincarnation appeared between heaven and earth. They emerged. Around him, the 24 ancient experts seemed to be affected by the power of reincarnation as their bodies stiffened. Taking advantage of this moment, everyone quickly counterattacked. Terrifying power hit their bodies. Among them, there were 2 ancient experts whose bodies were torn apart and shattered into pieces, scattering across the ground. Great, he was not invincible. The people from the Gu family were delighted, and the people from the Yi family were also smiling. But in the next moment, they couldn't laugh anymore. At the back, a surge of energy flew out from the corresponding coffin of the 24 experts and enveloped the other party. In the next moment, the bodies of the 2 shattered experts recombined. Although there were cracks where they were connected, they had formed a complete body. Boom, terrifying immortal chi and precepts filled the air. Once again, did he come back to life? Countless people were dumbfounded when they saw this scene. Was this an immortal existence? Even the people from the emperor family were terrified. Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. No, these aren't immortal beings. To be precise, these were originally dead people. However, after they died, they were recombined. It was the power of the Naraka path that had gathered these people together. But where was the Naraka path? His eyes kept flickering. In the end, he stared at the 24 pitch-black ancient coffins. Just now, when the ancient powerhouses were shattered, a mysterious power had been emitted from the ancient coffins. Therefore, Lin Xian wanted to find out what was going on. His figure flashed as he turned into a black bolt of lightning and charged forward. The surrounding powerhouses attacked. Lin Xian used his sword to open the way. He turned into a dragon and slashed through all the attacks with his sword. He killed his way to the front of an ancient coffin. Roar! In front of the ancient coffin, the ancient powerhouse let out a low roar. He threw a punch. On his fist, the black yellow springs flame kept jumping. It emitted an incomparably cold aura as it charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian used the 9 Suns Saint Fire to fight against it. The two flames with completely opposite powers collided. With a boom, with the two of them as the center, it spread out in all directions. The void was torn apart. Some of the chosen immortal clan were also sent flying, vomiting blood. Retreat, retreat quickly. They were incomparably terrified. After one attack, Lin Xian blocked the other party's fist. His right Rinnegan bloomed with radiance. He looked past the other party and looked at the ancient coffin. The ancient coffin wasn't big. It was only 3 meters long and 1 meter wide. However, it was incomparably dark. It seemed that it couldn't be seen clearly at all. Lin Xian's Rinnegan turned into a sharp sword. When the light entered it, it was as if it entered a swamp. Reincarnation opened. The power of reincarnation kept stirring. The fog inside shook crazily as if it was about to be torn apart. In front of him, the powerhouse with the yellow springs flame let out a miserable cry. The yellow springs law on his body suddenly erupted, as if it had turned into the yellow springs of hell. He struck out with both palms at Lin Xian. At the same time, for streams of yellow springs, water fell behind him. It also enveloped Lin Xian. Lin Xian roared angrily. Sword qi filled the air like a divine sword that reached the sky, protecting him. He allowed the yellow springs to hit his body, but it couldn't hurt him at all. It was split apart by the sword qi. Boom. At the same time, Lin Xian used the power of his body and punched the other party. The yellow springs figure kept retreating. He roared angrily. Suppress. Lin Xian's right fist danced and punched 9 times in a row, completely shaking the other party. In the next moment, Lin Xian arrived in front of the black ancient coffin. He stood opposite the black ancient coffin. The black ancient coffin shook. A terrifying, cold, hellish aura spread from inside. The surrounding powerhouses and quasi-emperors were terrified. They looked at Lin Xian and trembled in fear. What is this kid doing? Is he thinking of entering the ancient coffin? What's in that ancient coffin? Countless voices discussing the Tao rang out. At this moment, an expert rushed over. His body was like a black shadow. He instantly charged towards the ancient coffin, passing by Lin Xian. When he passed by, he smiled coldly and said, "Kid, thank you for helping me clear the obstacles." This person was a member of the ghost race. Lin Xian sensed the same aura as the soul gatherer from this person. However, the soul gatherer from before was 6-crown king, while this person before him was 7-crown king. He was more than 10 times stronger than the soul gatherer. His strength was extremely terrifying. When he passed by Lin Xian, he sent a palm strike at Lin Xian. At the same time, he charged towards the ancient coffin. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He waved his sleeve, and a taiji diagram appeared, blocking this attack. In the next moment, he frowned. This was because he saw that half of the seven-crowned king of the ghost race had already entered the ancient coffin. In the next moment, his entire body was inside. Did he succeed? In the distance, the ghost race was delighted. The others were also nervous. He wondered what the seven-crowned king would be able to find in there. The Chelan race shook their heads. This time, Linwoody really made a fool of himself. Yes, after being arrogant for so long, he finally suffered a loss. Humph, he'll suffer in the future. Some people who didn't like Lin Xian sneered and mocked him. However, Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. In the next moment, the corners of his mouth curled up in a cold smile. Stupid thing. Chapter 57:15. What did you say? The Chelan race's people were furious. Several elders walked out. They were now quasi-emperors. They shouted coldly, "Linwoody, don't be too arrogant. It's no longer the same as before. It's not the time for you to sweep the world alone. We've all grown up. What right do you have to laugh at us?" These elders shouted coldly. Lin Xian looked at them and shook his head. "You're taking advantage of your seniority. You can't even see the power inside the ancient coffin. How dare you laugh at me here? Get lost." The quasi-emperors of the Chelan race were so angry that they trembled. They couldn't help but want to attack Lin Xian. One of them stepped out. "I'd like to see what realm you've reached now, Linwoody." The Chelan aura on his body spread. He was about to attack. At this moment, a mournful cry was heard from the black ancient coffin. It made one's scalp go numb. Those quasi-emperors also felt their hair stand on end. Damn it, what happened? Could it be that something went wrong? The expressions of the dead spirit race people changed drastically. Before they could react, black fog spread out from the ancient coffin in front of them, and a figure walked out. It was the seven-crowned king, who went in earlier. Great, the patriarch came out. The dead spirit race people all breathed a sigh of relief. They all rushed over. What did the patriarch gain? These people were extremely excited. Seven-crowned king suddenly attacked. He waved his sharp claws like the scythe of the Grim Reaper. The seven people in front of him were all cut in half. Those seven people fell into a pool of blood, their faces filled with despair. They were quasi-emperors too. However, they were only the five-crowned king. There was a powerful six-crowned king. At this moment, after being attacked by seven-crowned king, they couldn't escape at all. They died in despair. Why? Before they died, they couldn't understand why the patriarch would attack them. The remaining dead spirit race people retreated in fear. They knelt on the ground. "Patriarch, please spare us. Patriarch, what did we do wrong?" They kept kowtowing. The surrounding people were also stunned. What was going on? The Chelan race people also frowned. Even a vicious tiger wouldn't eat its cubs. Did Seven-Crowned King want to take the treasure for himself? That shouldn't be the case. Lin Xian sneered. "A bunch of idiots. I'm no longer an ancestor. I've become someone else's puppet." What? Hearing Lin Xian's words, the expressions of the surrounding people changed greatly. The quasi-emperor of the Kirin race snorted. "Brat, are you kidding me? Who could control Seven-Crowned King in the blink of an eye? How could they not send someone with such strength?" Lin Xian shook his head. "You're really stupid. How could the Kirin clan have a trash like you? How dare you, kid?" The old man was so angry that his entire body was trembling. He was a boundary emperor, yet he was being looked down upon. However, Lin Xian didn't pay any attention to him. He stood with his hands behind his back and said coldly, "Look at his eyes. They had long become spiritless, their souls already extinguished." As soon as those words were spoken, the experts in the surroundings immediately began to investigate. Then the people in the depths of the deity ground gasped. He was really dead. The others also exclaimed, "No way! What kind of power was contained in that black ancient coffin? He was able to instantly kill Seven-Crowned King. Wasn't that too incredible?" Countless people were terrified, and their scalps went numb. Lin Xian looked at the people of the Kirin race and sneered. Now you know who's the trash. The quasi-emperors of the Kirin race also turned pale. They hadn't sensed such danger before. Only Lin Xian had sensed it, and they had even mocked Lin Xian. Thinking of this, they were really embarrassed. This time, they had been slapped in the face. They didn't say a word, and their expressions were ugly. Lin Xian, on the other hand, suddenly attacked. With a backhand slash, he killed dozens of people of the dead spirit race nearby. Screams rang out. The people of the Kirin race were terrified. They quickly retreated and used the Kirin race to defend themselves. The people of the dead spirit race screamed, "Damn kid! How dare you sneak attack us?" They were crazy. They were already shocked when their patriarch sneaked an attack on them. Now, they were attacked by a young man. They couldn't bear it. Damn it! They all stood up. Do you really think that the dead spirit race is easy to bully? After all, they came from the depths of the deity ground and were extremely powerful. How could they be afraid of a young man? Lin Xian sneered. You also know that it's a sneak attack. Is there a person in your family called the Soul Gatherer? When he attacked me, didn't you think about the consequences? What? Soul Gatherer? Hearing this, the people of the dead spirit race on the opposite side changed their expressions. You assassinated us just because of the Soul Gatherer? Some experts were not convinced. Lin Xian snorted. If my trump card was weaker, I would have been killed by the Soul Gatherer. Don't you think I should take revenge? Do you think I only sneaked an attack on you? Today, none of you will be able to leave. Extremely terrifying killing intent bloomed in Lin Xian's eyes. When he was in the Black Demon race, there were 3 parties that attacked him. The patriarch of the Black Demon race had been killed, and the entire Black Demon race had surrendered. The sect master of the soul-killing sect had been controlled and turned into a puppet. Only the Soul Gatherer himself had been killed. However, the dead spirit race that he represented continued to roam free. How could Lin Xian let these people go? He wanted everyone to know what the consequences would be if they dared to assassinate him and make an enemy of him. Lin Xian took out a sword, which was surrounded by sword aura, the cosmos sword song. The sword chi rumbled, as if the gods were singing. Terrifying sword light swept out in all directions. Wherever it passed, the people of the dead spirit race fell one after another. Their bodies were split open and could not heal at all. Their souls were also mercilessly pierced. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of dead spirit race experts had died. Moreover, the number of people was still increasing. Damn it, hurry up and defend. Summon the patriarch. The people of the dead spirit race frantically retreated. Defend. Boundless netherworld aura surged out, forming 2 enormous netherworld shields. They were thousands of meters tall and stood between the heavens and the earth, blocking the sword chi. At the same time, they called for help, calling for the patriarch in the distance. The dead spirit race also sent 3 7-crown kings, apart from the one who had died earlier. The other 2 were fighting in the distance. At this moment, one of the 7-crown kings heard the call for help and quickly returned. However, just as he was about to return, Lin Xian struck out once again. With a shocking punch, he shattered a giant underworld shield into pieces. Countless cracks appeared in front of the dead spirit race experts, shattering into pieces. Those people trembled. How could there be such a terrifying person? What kind of existence did they provoke? With another punch, the second shield shattered. Next, Lin Xian spat out sword chi, which turned into a sea of swords and flew forward. How could those from the dead spirit race possibly resist? This wave of swords seemed to have covered the entire universe. The experts of the dead spirit tribe fell one after another. When the surrounding people saw this, their scalps went numb. This was a crushing defeat. With the strength of one person, he defeated the entire dead spirit race. How many years had it been since they had seen such a scene? How dare you? At this moment, a crazy roar sounded in the distance. Seven-crowned king of the dead spirit race had rushed over. With a wave of his hand, dead spirit lightning turned into a lightning storm. It charged toward Lin Xian. Chapter 57:16. The lightning storm swept over. It carried a terrifying and destructive power, as well as a dark and cold aura. It was extremely terrifying. In the face of such a terrifying attack, the surrounding people scattered. Lin Xian threw a punch at him. Boom! A golden fist bloomed between heaven and earth. The aura of the purest yang swept out, charging at the lightning storm. The dark and cold aura of the lightning storm was completely extinguished by the flames. Then, the fist pierced through the storm and charged at Seven-Crowned King. With a boom, the fist collided with the other party. Seven-Crowned King felt as if all the bones in his body had cracked. He kept retreating, crashing through the void. In the next instant, he fell from the sky, half kneeling on the ground and spitting out a mouthful of blood. How can you be so powerful? He was stunned. There was a difference of 2 realms between them, and the other party did not use any weapons. How could he injure him with just the strength of his physique? What kind of strength was this? It was too terrifying. Lin Xian snorted. Trash. He stomped over, and the image of a dragon coiled under his feet. It was as if he had turned into a true dragon. Boom. Kacha's sounds rang out. That Seven-Crowned King was sent flying, half of his bones broken. At the same time, Lin Xian slashed out with his sword. Vast sword chi danced, carrying a biting, cold-killing intent. Lin Xian had merged his Qinquan sword technique with the Azura sword technique. When the sword slashed out, it contained the vast power of heaven and earth, as well as a terrifying killing intent. Another 100 experts of the Netherworld race died. It was as if Lin Xian had entered a realm where no one could block his sword. Damn it, I'll kill you, Seven-Crowned King roared. He took out a black box that floated in front of him. At the same time, endless black runes spread out from his body. Clearly, he was using a terrifying immortal spell, the Netherworld Finger. When he pointed out, a sinister wind swirled around it. It was as if a ghost had descended, revealing a dark and cold aura. Some of the people closer were shocked and retreated in fear. They felt as if their souls were being corroded. It was as if they were turning into dark puppets. This immortal spell was too terrifying. The remaining members of the Dead Spirit clan also grinned hideously. Great, the patriarch is angry. Let's see how this kid dies. How could such a finger technique be called a peerless, immortal technique? I'll let you see what a true killing move is. Lin Xian's sword chi flickered, killing intent surged from his body. Absolute kill sword, Azura finger. The Azura sword skill was brandished continuously in the air, and the 5 sword lights linked together. It was as if the finger of the Azura god was pointing forward. The murderous intent it contained caused countless people to be terrified. Even the sect master of the Soul Slayer sect was so scared that he knelt down on one knee and kept surrendering. In the face of such a murderous aura, no one could withstand it. Not good. When Seven-Crowned King saw this, his expression changed drastically. At this moment, his confidence was shaken again. When the 2 fingers collided, the finger that carried the Spectre God was immediately split apart. Not only that, but the Azura sword was also aimed at his forehead. Before the sword arrived, the space between his brows had already split open. No, you can't kill me. I admit defeat, he roared crazily. However, this was a battle of life and death. How could he admit defeat? Lin Xian was unmoved. The Azura sword continued to stab into the other party's forehead. Stop! At this moment, another roar came from the distance. However, it was already too late. This sword pierced through the other party's head and killed his soul. After the sword, Seven Crown King was still standing there, but his vitality had been extinguished. Whoosh, the last person, a youth in a black robe, landed. He looked at the dead Seven Crown King, so angry that his entire body trembled. He turned his head, killing intent surging in his eyes. You dare to kill him? Why wouldn't I dare? Not only will I kill him, but I'll also kill you. Lin Xian used the Rinnegan. An array of reincarnation power appeared in the sky. A pair of eyes appeared, and he struck out with both palms, directly injuring the other party's soul. The new Seven Crown King was seriously injured in the blink of an eye. He was terrified and turned around to escape. Lin Xian sneered. You are the last powerhouse of the dead spirit race, right? After I kill you, there will be no more powerhouses from the dead spirit race coming to the ancient tomb. When I get out of the ancient tomb, I'll destroy the dead spirit race. A cold voice rang out, making everyone's scalps go numb. In the sky, the soul palms descended once again. No, was he going to die? The youth's face was filled with despair and disbelief. However, at this moment, a blade light swept over from the distance and actually cut off the soul palms. It had saved him. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. Someone was actually able to cut off the soul energy. Who was it? He looked into the distance. The others were also shocked. They all looked over. In the next instant, they saw a group of people flying back. This group of people had powerful auras. There was purple chi from the east as well as blade light and sword light. It was the people of the Purple Mansion. They had returned. Countless people cried out in alarm. The people of the Divine Union sneered. They were just defeated, yet they still dared to return. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. These people were nothing to be afraid of. He stared at the Eight Crown King and said in a low voice, Are you here to die? Lin Wuyi, you are too arrogant. Today, I will send you to hell. Yulan said coldly. She was here for revenge. The Purple Mansion Master also walked out and said with a smile, Lin Wuyi, your time has come. You think you can do it? Lin Xian was disdainful. The Purple Mansion Master snorted. Just you wait. Then he looked at the Seven Crown King and said, We saved you. Submit to us. Thank you for saving me. I am willing to submit. The Seven Crown King could only rely on the Purple Mansion. Very good. The corners of the Purple Mansion Master's mouth curled up. Then they swarmed over and surrounded Lin Xian. It was as if they were afraid that he would run away. Lin Xian sneered. Show me what you have. Ordinary strength is no match for me. What he said was indeed correct. With his current strength, even if he were to face the Eight Crown King Yulan, he would still be able to injure her. After all, he had a lot of trump cards. Yulan walked out and said in a low voice, I know you have the dragon sword soul and an extreme weapon, but this time you are no match for me, because I brought this thing. Then she waved her hand. Thunderclouds rolled in the sky, and the void cracked. A terrifying power spread out. Everyone was stunned. What was it that could make these people so confident? In the next instant, when they sensed that terrifying soul aura, they were all stupefied. Some people's pupils shrank. Could it be that thing? That shouldn't be possible, right? How could he have obtained that item? These people roared crazily. Morong Ching Chung and the others' pupils shrank. It was the energy of the soul cutter. They could control the soul cutter. The Crimson Dragon jumped up. I can't be wrong. This Purple Mansion Master is too crazy. He could even bring the soul cutter. In the sky, the Purple Mansion Master laughed. Yes, it is the soul cutter. Lin Wuyi, are you desperate now? As his voice fell, a long sword appeared in the crack in the sky. Chapter 57:17. The soul-slicing blade specialized in slicing one's soul. These people had all experienced the soul-slicing blade before. They had no way of dealing with this weapon. All they could do was block it. It wasn't easy to block it either. Only an extreme grade aura could block it. At this moment, the Purple Mansion Master took out the dragon pattern cauldron. He looked down at Lin Xian from above and said, "I know that you have 3 extreme grade weapons. However, do you dare to use them together? You will have to bear 3 times the power of the Great Emperor. No matter how strong you are, you won't be able to withstand it. Therefore, you will definitely die this time." Boom! 2 dragons emerged from the dragon pattern cauldron and grabbed the soul-slicing blade. They used the extreme grade power to activate the soul-slicing blade. This way, they could deceive the Great Emperor's power in the ancient tomb. Everyone went crazy when the blade slashed down. "Back off quickly." Everyone dodged. Lin Xian shouted angrily, "Retreat," he said to the people of the Divine Union. At the same time, his body kept swaying. With a loud boom, he created 6 illusions of the 6 realms. However, they were all shattered by the blade. In the next instant, his face turned pale. Many people's souls were extinguished by this slash of the saber. These people were crazy. "I want to go home." Those people were so frightened that they roared. At this moment, it was unknown if they had sensed the power of the soul-slicing blade. The 24 ancient powerhouses in the surroundings attacked crazily. They started to reap the lives of the people around them. A huge battle broke out in an instant. The 24 ancient powerhouses attacked continuously like machines. They weren't afraid of being destroyed at all. This was because the destroyed bodies could be reassembled instantly. What was even more strange was that the people who were killed seemed to have become puppets, fighting machines. More and more puppet armies appeared. This was the power of the Hell Path. Although it couldn't bring the dead back to life, it could still fight after death. Under such circumstances, some people from the Soul Sect, Black Devil Sect, and even the Divine Union died. Then they turned into fighting machines. Lin Xian couldn't care less about this. The soul-slicing blade in the sky was aimed at him. This made him feel as if he was facing a great enemy. His sky-devouring jar could indeed block it. However, this kind of passive counterattack made him feel extremely depressed. He said coldly, "If you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." Originally, he hadn't planned on killing the 8-crown king here. However, the other party was truly too despicable. He had even brought the soul-severing saber. Since the other party wanted to kill him so badly, he didn't mind revealing some of his trump cards in advance. "Send him out. Do you really think you can kill me?" Yulan sneered. The soul-slashing saber slashed down again. At this moment, Lin Xian waved his hand, and the universe ring flew forward in an arc. It collided with the soul cutter. It was useless. Other than extreme weapons that could block it, nothing else could block it. Yulan laughed loudly. Indeed, after she came, the Emperor clans and chosen immortal clans all suffered heavy losses. On the Divine Union's side, there were also casualties. Everyone lowered their heads in front of Yulan. Even the people from the martial monarch clans wanted to flee. How could he resist such a person? They believed that the best outcome for Lin Xian would be to escape with the heaven-devouring jar injured. It would be impossible for him to kill Yulan. However, Lin Xian defied the heavens. The more impossible something was, the more he wanted to do it. So what if he was the 8-crown king? So what if he was the soul-severing saber? He could still kill the other party. The universe ring flew into the sky with a mysterious power. There was a loud clang. It collided with the soul-severing saber. Shatter. Yulan sneered. The people from the Purple Mansion clan also had disdainful expressions. What could go against the soul-severing saber? However, in the next instant, they were all stunned. They discovered that a small bracelet had blocked the terrifying soul-severing saber. How was this possible? Yulan's pupils shrank. The Purple Mansion clan master also exclaimed, "What is that thing? How come I've never seen it before?" He had fought with Lin Xian many times before. He was all too familiar with Lin Xian. He also knew all the treasures on Lin Xian's body. However, he had never seen this small bracelet before. It was not the heaven-devouring jar, nor the dragon sword soul, but it had the power to block the soul-severing saber. Could it be a new treasure that the other party had obtained? Damn it, why hadn't he heard of it before? He was too careless. He was just about to remind him. At this time, Lin Xian flew over. The demon god wings on his back unfolded, making his speed extremely fast. In an instant, he was in front of Yulan. Not good. The Purple Mansion clan master was so scared that he retreated frantically. He reminded Senior he has the firmament wristband, so he has a chance to ignore the armor. If he cooperates with the dragon sword soul, we can't resist the invincible power at all. As he spoke, he called back the dragon-wending cauldron in front of him. A terrifying extreme Dao aura protected them. Yulan also shouted angrily and shot out the empty valley orchid. Huge orchids covered heaven and earth. That tenacious power was enough to shatter the heavens. Lin Xian laughed. What? Are you afraid? Then you shouldn't have provoked me. Lin Xian shouted angrily. The dragon sword soul spread out, cutting a crack in the void. The dragon-wending cauldron's defense cracked. The people of the Purple Mansion sucked in a cold breath. The Purple Mansion clan master sneered. It's useless. You just open it, but you can't hurt us. He was ready to activate the dragon pattern cauldron again. However, Lin Xian was very fast. With a wave of his hand, a black vortex flew out. There was something wrapped in it, and it flew towards Yulan. It was a statue. It was incomparably white and holy, like an angel. However, there was a demon horn on its forehead. This was the heavenly demon statue. Previously, the 6th Dragon General had used this thing to damage Lin Xian's Dao heart. In the end, he was suppressed by Lin Xian. This was an extremely terrifying thing. Legend had it that even the 9-crown king had been affected. Dao heart should be enough to deal with the 8-crown king now. Sure enough, when the heavenly demon statue appeared in front of Yulan, Yulan's face instantly changed. She felt that her soul and will of the great Dao were affected. It was as if her entire body was about to go berserk. No, he roared in horror. This is a heavenly demon. Damn it, how do you have such a thing? She let out a shrill cry. When the people beside her heard this, they immediately fled. A heavenly demon was an existence that could destroy one's Dao heart. The Purple Mansion clan master also turned around and fled. Damn it, use your extreme Dao weapon to help me. Yulan roared crazily. However, the Purple Mansion clan master's face was pale. He was only the 6-crown king. Just now, when he approached the heavenly demon, he felt that his soul was about to split open. He could only attack from afar and activate the dragon pattern cauldron. However, it was blocked by the heaven-swallowing jar. At this moment, the universe ring flew back to Lin Xian's hand. The soul-slashing saber erupted with light again. Lin Xian shouted, "Ching-chung!" Ching-chung threw out the desolate tower to fight against the soul-slashing saber. Lin Xian smiled. This time, who could save her? Under the heavenly demon, she would turn into ashes. Yulan was completely affected by the heavenly demon. She let out a miserable cry and rolled in the sky, flying crazily from all directions. Everywhere she passed, there was the power of the heavenly demon. This was because the heavenly demon statue was hovering above her head. In fact, 2 people from the chosen immortal clan didn't have time to escape. Similarly, they were affected by the power of the heavenly demon. Crazy. Everyone retreated crazily. Chapter 57:18. A miserable shriek was heard, as though the gates of hell had been opened. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. It was too frightening. The 8-crown king was in such a miserable state. How could Lin Wuyi have such a terrifying thing? In the end, Yulan died in despair. Her Tao heart was shattered. Her cultivation went berserk, and she died completely. Cracks appeared on the heavenly demon statue. Then, with a loud crack, it split into two. Had she used up all her energy? Looking at this scene, Lin Xian also sighed. Such a good trump card is gone. However, the effect was shocking. The 8-crowned king was killed just like that. He was dead. The others had all gone crazy. The people from the monarch clan sucked in a breath of cold air. They looked at Lin Xian and felt their scalps go numb. They couldn't afford to provoke this demon. The people from the Purple Mansion were even paler. The Purple Mansion lord's body began to tremble. Even the 8-crowned king had died. After dealing with her, it's time to deal with you. Lin Xian looked up and stared at the Purple Mansion master. The Purple Mansion master gritted his teeth. Damn it, retreat. They retreated quickly. Lin Xian wouldn't let them leave. He waved his hand, and the people from the Divine Union rushed forward. A huge battle was about to break out. However, at this moment, a black aura spread out from the 24 coffins, intertwining. A black eye formed on the ground. That eyeball was extremely strange. The moment it appeared, it released a trace of reincarnation power. Then, the corpse of the 8-crowned king seemed to be controlled. It flew quickly towards the black eyeball. This shocking scene caused everyone to be stunned. What was going on? Lin Xian's expression changed. Oh no, he forgot that this was the purgatory path. Even if she died, she could be controlled by the purgatory path and become a stronger puppet. Damn it, he slashed out with his sword. Sword chi flew forward like a divine rainbow, slashing at the black aura. With a clang, the black chains were cut apart. The corpse of the 8-crowned king stopped. As for the black eyeball, it was furious. It suddenly turned towards Lin Xian and emitted a terrifying black radiance. Boom! The people around Lin Xian were all sent flying, coughing up mouthfuls of blood. Even Yan Ruyu, Morong Qingchen, and the others felt the impact, their faces turning pale. Lin Xian's expression was even more serious. The reincarnation light in his right eye blossomed with a terrifying aura as it fought back. The power of the 2 reincarnations exploded. Lin Xian cast the 6 Paths reincarnation and formed an illusion of the world of reincarnation. It swept toward the black eyeball in front of it, wanting to suppress it. Although Lin Xian had mastered 3 Rinnegan, his cultivation was only at the quasi-emperor level. Although there was only 1 black eyeball in the purgatory path, it was still in the tomb of the great emperor. It was likely that this was something that the sole emperor controlled in the past. Thus, its might was extraordinarily terrifying. The illusion of the 6 Paths world shook violently under the black eyeball. The closer one got to the top, the more cracks there were. Lin Xian's forehead was dripping with sweat. Obviously, he was also having a hard time. The strange scene made everyone not dare to act rashly. For a moment, the world became incomparably quiet. Only sweat dripped on the ground, making a ticking sound. Should they take advantage of this time to kill Lin Wudi? The people of the 10,000 Blades sect gritted their teeth. Morong Qingcheng snorted coldly. You dare? She took out the desolate tower, and it bloomed with a terrifying light. Everyone was terrified. The people of the 10,000 Blades sect also gritted their teeth. They didn't act rashly. This place was in a stalemate. In the depths of the great emperor's tomb stood a group of people. This group of people had laws condensed on their bodies, and they stood there like immortals. At the front was half a frog. The immortal chi on his body was really terrifying. That was true immortal chi, enough to sweep across the world. At this moment, he frowned slightly and snorted coldly. The surrounding quasi-emperors immediately knelt on one knee in fear. Half a frog didn't attack the array in front of him anymore. Instead, he turned his head and looked into the distance. The immortal light in his eyes erupted with power. Yulan has fallen, he said in a deep voice. The pupils of the quasi-emperors in front of him also constricted. What? Yulan has fallen. That's impossible, right? They suddenly raised their heads, their faces full of surprise. Yulan was the eight-crown king. She was definitely an existence that could sweep through everything here. No matter how dangerous the great emperor's tomb was, Yulan shouldn't have fallen. Could it be that the great emperor families behind them made a move? A quasi-emperor said. Just now we felt the power of several extreme weapons. They sense that the extreme weapons attacked are Permitha. This is too much. Do they really think that the great emperor families can be arrogant? In front of our Permitha, they're just ants. The green-robed great emperor said in a deep voice, "Go and see who the enemy is. Bring him here. I want him to live a life worse than death." Yes, the two eight-crowned kings stood up and were about to leave. Suddenly, the green-robed great emperor's expression changed. He exclaimed in surprise and looked into the distance. The two eight-crowned kings didn't dare to say anything and could only wait there. Soon, the green-robed great emperor's eyes burst out with a shocking light. This aura, the 6 paths of reincarnation. I feel the power of the hell path. It seems that the soul emperor has indeed grasped one of the 6 paths. The other quasi-emperors were also shocked. The hell path. It's actually here. Great. If we get it, it'll be a great merit. The hell path is one of the 6 paths. More importantly, it's related to the 9 serenities hell. If we get it, our chances of winning the 9 serenities hell will increase by a lot. That's right. This time, I'll personally take action and seize the hell path. After returning, it'll also be a great merit. Therefore, he couldn't help but make a move. He opened his mouth and spat out a scarlet light. It turned into a sharp blood-colored blade and instantly flew into the distance. It pierced through heaven and earth. For frogs, capturing things couldn't be easier. A black eyeball was something he could easily obtain. Because he was a great emperor, this attack carried the power of immortal chi. In front, Lin Xian's Rinnegan was confronting the black eyeball. All of a sudden, a terrifying power surged out. Wherever it passed, the void would constantly shatter. The surrounding people were instantly pierced through. Thousands of experts of the chosen immortal clan turned into a bloody mist in this hell path. The others felt their scalps go numb. Run! This is the power of a great emperor. Everyone was terrified. Could it be that they had angered the supreme existence here? Their scalps went numb as they quickly retreated. Lin Xian's expression also changed. This power didn't belong to the Soul Emperor, but the green-robed Great Emperor. Thinking of this, he also quickly retreated. However, in the next moment, his expression changed. He discovered that the green-robed Great Emperor wasn't attacking him, but the black eyeball. The other party also wanted to snatch the hell path. Damn it, stay here. Lin Xian roared. So, what if the other party is a great emperor? In an instant, he took out the heaven-devouring jar and fiercely slammed it out. With a bang, a terrifying black vortex appeared on the heaven-devouring jar. Tunton collided with the scarlet light. The two collided. Extreme power spread out, immortal chi danced, and the entire void was completely shattered. The surrounding people hurriedly fled. However, they couldn't escape at all. Under this power, everything was turned into ashes. Fortunately, at the critical moment, the great emperor families joined forces and took out their extreme weapons to defend. Only then did they block it. Otherwise, all of them would have been reduced to ashes with just this one strike. Even so, they were still severely injured. Lin Xian spat out a mouthful of blood. However, it was still fine. He blocked it. The black eyeball was also sent flying. It wasn't taken away by the great emperor. Chapter 57:19. Countless black holes filled heaven and earth. Everyone looked at this scene in a daze. Lin Wudi blocked the great emperor's attack. They felt like they were dreaming. Brother Xian, are you okay? Morong Qingcheng and the others also came over looking nervous. Lin Xian had blood at the corner of his mouth. He swallowed 2 pills. Then he said, "Be careful. I'm afraid there will be a great battle." Lin Xian was ready to open the sword world at any time. Morong Qingcheng and Yan Ryu also looked serious. No one dared to be careless. This time, their target was the Emperor Lord. He was an existence that stood at the pinnacle of the martial path. In the depths of the ancient tomb, the green-robed great emperor's face darkened. "How dare you block my attack? No matter who you are dead meat." A piercing voice sounded, and the 9 heavens and 10 earths were shattering. The surrounding quasi-emperors were also stunned. Someone blocked the green-robed great emperor's attack. Who was it? It was impossible for a second great emperor to appear in this place. Some of the 8 crown kings felt their scalps go numb. They just felt an extremely terrifying aura. Someone was using an extreme weapon to fight against the great emperor. But soon, they sneered. The great emperor's family? They were reckless. So, what if they had an extreme weapon? A quasi-emperor using an extreme weapon couldn't compete with a true great emperor. Although extreme weapons couldn't break through, the great emperor could still kill those people with the shockwave. The green-robed great emperor waved his hand, and the surrounding people instantly cast immortal spells and flew out. In the next moment, a gate of laws appeared above Lin Xian and the others. From inside, figures walked out one after another. At the same time, a cold voice sounded. "How dare you compete with us? Do you want to die?" His voice was filled with boundless pressure, making everyone want to kneel down and worship him. The figures walked out from inside and stood between heaven and earth. The people of the chosen immortal clan and the great emperor's family felt their scalps go numb after seeing this. Weren't they the group of experts who came in? They were from the Permitha realm. They were the great emperor's people. Countless people gasped. Was the great emperor from the Nirvana realm about to appear? Was he the one who did it just now? At this moment, the entire chosen immortal clan knelt on the ground and kowtowed. Even the faces of the people from the Z mansion became ugly, although they were not kneeling now. However, if the green-robed emperor were to appear, all of them would probably kneel before him. The only ones left standing were the great emperor clans. The expressions of these soldiers were also extremely solemn. They would not kneel to the other party. However, they didn't dare to make an enemy out of him. The people from the Divine Union gathered behind Lin Xian and the others. They swore to follow Lin Xian to their deaths. As for Lin Xian, his expression was solemn as he looked at his opponent. The light of reincarnation in his eyes flickered continuously. This group of people were all quasi-emperors. The weakest was the 7-crown king, and the strongest was the 8-crown king. Even though there were no 9-crown kings, those 8-crown kings were still extremely frightening. The aura was even more terrifying than the faint blue aura from before. The 8-crown king had an extremely frightening great Tao. He wore a white robe and was surrounded by sword aura. He looked like a sword immortal. At this moment, his blue eyes looked down. When he saw Yulan's corpse, his pupils shrank. Yulan was really dead. Who did it? The white-robed 8-crown king roared at the sky. Patriarch. Everyone in the Immortal Sword sect knelt down. This was one of their patriarchs who had been fortunate enough to enter the Permitha realm. They knelt on the ground and pointed at Lin Xian, saying, "It's this brat. Patriarch, please kill him." The people in the Immortal Sword sect were extremely happy. Their patriarch had made a move. That brat would definitely die. You, the white-robed patriarch, stared at Lin Xian. The piercing cold sword aura in his eyes kept erupting, piercing through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly. A black vortex appeared beside him and blocked the sword aura. He wasn't afraid of the 8-crown king. He said, "That's right. I killed Yulan. Do you want to follow in her footsteps?" He was threatening the other party. How dare he threaten the 8-crown king? The white-robed patriarch's face darkened. "Do you want to die?" Lin Xian laughed. "If you have the guts, then let's see who will die." He even dared to resist the attack of a great emperor, let alone the 8-crown king. Lin Xian, at this moment, looked down on the world. He was extremely arrogant. At this moment, there was another man with a head of blue hair that fell to his feet like a waterfall. At the same time, he had a saber with a biting cold aura. The blue-haired man was not very handsome, but he had a murderous aura about him. He seemed to be a peerless killing god. The people of the 10,000 Sabers sect also knelt. Patriarch, this was their 10,000 Sabers patriarch, who was also the 8-crown king and had joined the Permethar realm. The 10,000 Sabers patriarch stared at Lin Xian and said in a low voice. The black vortex beside him was very similar to the extreme weapon that had just attacked. Could it be that he was the one fighting against the great emperor? As soon as these words were said, the powerhouses who came out all stared at Lin Xian. "Which great emperor family are you from?" they said coldly. Lin Xian sneered. "You don't deserve to talk to me. Ask the green robe to come out." Lin Xian knew that he had been targeted by the green robe. Since that was the case, he wouldn't be afraid. He would face it directly. "Who do you think you are? You don't deserve to talk to our great emperor." The 10,000 Sabers patriarch was instantly furious. The white-robed patriarch's face was full of killing intent. The other party dared to look down on them. "Let me see what right you have to be arrogant." He slashed out with his sword like a peerless, immortal sword, and instantly arrived in front of Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He held the sword with both hands and struck out with the sword of the universe, which turned into a roaring universe dragon. The two collided, and the sword chi resonated and dissipated between heaven and earth. The white-robed patriarch's pupils shrank. What a terrifying sword intent! I can feel an invincible power. The person in the immortal sword knelt on the ground. Patriarch, he is the descendant of the great dragon. He has the great dragon sword soul. What? The great dragon sword soul? The white-robed patriarch was surprised. Not only did the other party have an extreme weapon, but he also had the great dragon sword. At the same time, his eyes bloomed with extremely cold killing intent. The great dragon sword? Then he is their enemy on the other side. Kid, kneel on the ground. Hand over the great dragon sword soul. Hand over the extreme weapon, and I will give you a quick death. The white-robed patriarch was like a flying immortal, ethereal to the extreme. Lin Xian directly looked past his gaze and into the distance. "Green robe, don't you dare to come out?" The white-robed patriarch's face turned ugly. He was ignored again. He wanted to get angry and attack. However, at this moment, a loud voice sounded. "Aunt, how dare you challenge me? Do you know the consequences of offending a great emperor? It is a fate worse than death. I can let you live in despair for 10,000 years. I will let you suffer for eternity." As the green-robed great emperor spoke, the souls of the kneeling chosen immortal clan members all split open. The great emperor's family was attacked, and the extreme weapon defense produced a sonorous sound. This was a great emperor. He was high and mighty, and his voice could determine the life and death of a quasi-emperor. On Lin Xian's side, he also took out his extreme weapon to defend against the people behind him. The three extreme weapons bloomed with radiance to resist the voice of the great emperor, Kaiser Blood, Quasi-Emperor Mandala, and the others were terrified. Their faces were filled with despair. Lin Xian had offended a great emperor. Would they all go to hell? Chapter 57:20. The green-robed great emperor had arrived, bringing with him a supreme emperor aura that made countless people feel despair. The aura of the great emperor was enough to destroy them, not to mention the strength of the great emperor himself. Lin Xian was also facing a great enemy. He felt the pressure on his body like millions of ancient mountains. He couldn't even breathe. "You're the ant that dares to go against me?" The green-robed great emperor's cold gaze fell on Lin Xian's body. It caused Lin Xian's surroundings to instantly shatter, turning into an endless black hole. Lin Xian roared to the sky. Lin Xian operated the sky-devouring jar with all his might. An endless black vortex with an extreme Tao aura swept out. At the same time, the dragon on his body roared, and the dragon-shaped sword qi kept surging. Only then did he manage to block the aura on his opponent's body. However, his face was already pale. The great emperor was really too strong. He was only a quasi-emperor now, and only the five-crown king. The great emperor was an existence that was completely above him. The surrounding chosen immortal clan experts all prostrated on the ground. Only Lin Xian stubbornly resisted. This scene surprised the quasi-emperors on the other side. They never thought that someone could really withstand the might of the great emperor. This kid was really tenacious. The green-robed great emperor also snorted coldly. "Do you think you can compete with me just because you have an extreme weapon? You're too far away. Even if I can't break your extreme-grade weapon, I can still torture you to death." As he spoke, the green-robed great emperor gently waved his claws. There was a boom. It was as if the world was about to be destroyed. The expressions of the great emperor's family members changed drastically. Not good. Retreat quickly. Even if they had extreme weapons, they didn't dare to fight with a true great emperor. They quickly retreated with their extreme weapons. The other chosen immortal clan members followed beside them and quickly fled. Boom. Lin Xian roared to the sky. Although the other party had only casually attacked, he had to go all out. The sky-devouring jar above his head quickly blasted out, and a black vortex covered the sky and earth. At the same time, he held the great dragon sword soul with both hands. He slashed out with the sword. Boom. An earth-shattering sound rang out, and a world-shattering aura filled the air. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. Everyone retreated far away and looked ahead. Someone said, "Lin Wuti is dead for sure. Even an extreme-grade weapon wouldn't be able to protect him." This was the consequence of going against the great emperor. The people from the Purple Mansion sect all became complacent. A peerless enemy was finally dead. Lin Xian's figure emerged from the crack in front of him. 5 cracks appeared on his body, penetrating his entire body. Blood continuously dripped down, dyeing the 9 heavens red. However, his eyes were incomparably resolute. He didn't die, even though he was injured by the attack earlier, but he was still alive. How could this be? The members of the 10,000 Blades sect were stunned. He was actually still alive. The pupils of the people from the Purple Mansion shrank as well. This person must be killed today. If the other party was allowed to live, he would become a peerless enemy and cause endless trouble in the future. The people on the other side were also surprised. Did the green-robed great emperor's attack fail to kill him? As expected of the person who possessed half of the heaven-devouring jar and the great dragon sword soul. However, so what? They weren't worried. This kid definitely couldn't compete with a true great emperor. The other party's next move would destroy both his body and soul. The green-robed great emperor was also surprised. He didn't die. Interesting. It would be a pity if he died like this. Don't worry. I will first beat you half to death, and then make you wish you were dead. He raised his claws again and waved them gently. Lin Xian roared into the sky. Divine Union, listen up. Give me all your power. Qingcheng, Ryu, use all your strength. Extreme grade weapons. Lin Xian was going to fight to the death with the other party today. He opened the sword world, and the power inside surged out crazily. The heaven-devouring jar emitted a pitch-black demonic aura, as if it had been revived. The dragon-shaped sword aura roared nonstop. A true dragon appeared. The dragon shadow between heaven and earth had an indestructible power. Behind, the divine union, the black demon race, the Rakshasa race, and the 6 great chosen immortal races could only pour all their power into the front. The desolate tower also erupted with power. On the other side, green lotuses bloomed all over the sky, sweeping through the 9 heavens. Were they going to fight to the death? The people of the Yi family exclaimed when they saw this scene. The people of the Phoenix race rushed over. They would not let Morong Qingqing be in danger. They also attacked, causing the power of the desolate tower to become even more terrifying. Kill! Lin Xian roared. The great dragon sword soul took the lead and attacked. Vast and unparalleled power slashed forward. The heaven-devouring maelstrom guarded the surroundings. At the same time, the power of the desolate tower and the green lotuses erupted. The power of these extreme grade weapons overwhelmed the 9 heavens. They tore the desolate land apart. Ants, do you dare to fight against me? The green-robed great emperor was disdainful as he waved his claws. An earth-shattering sound was heard, sweeping across the 9 heavens and 10 lands. At the same time, the power of the Soul Emperor also erupted. The Earth Ancient Tomb did not allow the power of other great emperors to appear. In addition to the power of the Soul Emperor, the front was completely shattered. Everyone retreated in fear. On the other hand, Lin Xian was vomiting blood. He had to admit that the great emperor was really too strong. Even though he had used his trump card, he was still affected. Boom! The dragon-shaped sword aura was shattered, and the great dragon sword soul was also forced back. Lin Xian kept retreating. The heaven-devouring crown beside him released its extreme grade aura. On the other side, Morong Qingcheng, Yan Ruyu, the divine union, and the black demon race were all affected. At the critical moment, the heaven-devouring jar covered the sky and blocked the attack. However, it could not protect them. Lin Xian's body was split into 2. Morong Qingcheng and Yan Ruyu's bodies were cracked. The 500,000 elites of the black demon race were all shattered. On the soul race's side, the assassins were also killed. Most of the people from the 6 great chosen immortal races were also turned into a bloody mist by this attack, and no longer existed. It was as if hell had opened between heaven and earth. The smell of blood made everyone's scalp tingle. It was a shocking attack. In the blink of an eye, at least 1 million elites had fallen. This was the strength of the great emperor. Moreover, this was under the protection of an extreme grade weapon. If the great emperor was really angry and slapped down, a planet would probably be turned into ashes in an instant. The Hellfire Dragon's expression was also ugly. He said, "Kid, you are no match for the great emperor now. You should leave first." The great emperor's strength was actually so strong. Lin Xian was also shocked. He gritted his teeth. Leave? How was that possible? He had already been targeted by the other party. There was no way he could leave. Now, he could only fight to the death. "Qingcheng, you guys leave first. I will fight him," Lin Xian said. Morong Qingcheng's face was covered in blood and injuries. She shook her head and said, "Brother Xian, I will advance and retreat with you." Yenryu said, "I won't leave either." Crimson Dragon said, "Master Dragon won't leave either. At most, I will die." "Good. Then we will go all out." Lin Xian's eyes burst with an extremely cold light. He checked and found that there was still a lot of power in the sword world. At this moment, the sword world had become more and more mysterious. At the critical moment, he could also bring everyone in to avoid the attack. Then he would launch another extreme great attack. The great dragon sword soul in Lin Xian's hand flashed again. On the other side, the green-robed great emperor's face also darkened. A small ant actually dared to resist after seeing him. He had no more patience. Chapter 57:21. The green-robed great emperor decided to kill them, not giving them a chance to live. A few small ants made him very annoyed. Killing them and seizing their extreme weapons would be a heaven-shaking harvest. Thinking of this, a terrifying light appeared in his eyes. His claws were filled with green immortal chi. Previously, it was just the power of his physique. Now he was going to use the immortal chi. This power was countless times stronger than before. As soon as it appeared, the entire ancient tomb was about to crack. Not good. The Hellfire Dragon's expression changed. Dodge. This is true immortal chi. Enough to destroy everything. Even with the defense of an extreme weapon, they would probably be shocked to death. Want to run? Humph. It's too late. Do you think you can run in front of me? The green-robed great emperor's claws slammed down, carrying the power of immortal chi. Lin Xian roared to the sky. Dragon scales appeared on his body, and he merged with the great dragon sword soul. He was going to use his strongest attack. But at this moment, heaven and earth split open, and a hand pressed on his forehead. The dragon scales on his body disappeared. At the same time, another hand slammed into the sky, attacking the green-robed great emperor. What's going on? Lin Xian was stunned. Boom. The power in his body was suppressed. Not only him, but Morong Qingcheng and Yan Ruyu were also stunned. They didn't use their extreme weapons. They were stopped. Despair appeared in their eyes. However, they soon realized that something was wrong. This person didn't come to attack them, but to protect them. It was a shocking battle, as if two gods were fighting. This attack directly tore open the ancient tomb and attacked the 9 heavens. Countless arrays were shattered. That place was completely turned into nothingness. The people of the chosen immortal clan screamed. Their bodies were broken, and they were extremely miserable. The people of the great emperor family also kept vomiting blood. Although they had extreme weapons protecting them, they were still seriously injured. Everyone's face was filled with fear. They frantically retreated, and even wanted to escape the ancient tomb. The people in the first few palaces were also terrified. They crawled on the ground, and some people were turned into blood mist. At this moment, everyone in the tomb was terrified. Not only Gumu, but the people of the immortal soul realm were also stunned. What kind of power was this? Why do I sense an extreme Tao aura? This is the power of an immortal artifact. Heavens, are the great emperors fighting? It actually pierced through heaven and earth. Countless people looked into the distance, in the direction of the great emperor's tomb. 2 great emperors had appeared in that place. They were so scared that their scalps were numb. None of them dared to approach him. The people of the Purple Mansion were also seriously injured. However, compared to the others, his situation was much better. The Purple Mansion Lord sneered. Lin Wudi would definitely die under such an attack. The Thousand Saber ancestor and the White Robe ancestor laughed coldly. He must be an idiot if he dared to go against Higan. In everyone's opinion, Lin Xian was dead meat. However, at this moment, a crazy roar came from the broken void. Damn it, who is it? Who dares to resist me? What was going on? Everyone went crazy. This was the voice of the green-robed great emperor. Moreover, the great emperor was so angry. Could it be that Lin Wudi was fine, and he had blocked it? Impossible. Everyone shook their heads frantically. The white hair ancestor and the others were dumbfounded. They were the 8 crowned kings. They followed the great emperor and knew how powerful he was. The other party would definitely not be able to block it, even with an extreme Tao weapon. The difference in cultivation base was too great. It was so great that he could not block it. But why was the green-robed great emperor so angry? On the divine union's side, Bai Susu and the others were in despair. They were in despair. In that moment, many of their companions had died. They had thought that this time they would be annihilated along with Lin Xian. However, they had not expected that at the last moment someone would help them block the attack. Who was it? Kaiser Blood, and the others were still looking up at the sky. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. He had also felt the great emperor's power. Moreover, there was a familiar power. It was the power of the divine fire. The real divine fire. She waved her hand gently, and the morning mist filled the air. The toad jumped back and said, "Are you guys okay? I'm back." "You damn toad. Could it be that you're the one who brought back the martial emperors?" the Crimson Dragon exclaimed. Yan Ruyu, Qingcheng, and the others were also relieved. It seemed that the reinforcements had come. The toad said, "Don't worry. The Empress is awake, so you are safe." The Empress? Lin Xian looked up and saw a figure in front of him. Her back was facing him. Her upper body was that of a beautiful girl, but her lower body was that of a snake. Her white scales emitted a cold light. There was a flame dancing on her body. That was the real divine fire. It was as terrifying as immortal chi. At this moment, Kaiser Blood and the others knelt on the ground and kowtowed. The real great emperor had come again. In the distance, the Gu family and the Qilin clan also saw them and were shocked. Was another great emperor coming? How could this be? The people of the 10,000 Knives sect and the Immortal Sword sect were in despair. Lin Xian also knew a living great emperor. Wasn't it incredible? The pupils of the Purple Mansion sect shrank. They were from the Heavenly Court. The Heavenly Court, indeed, contained endless secrets. They didn't expect a great emperor to come out. The Purple Mansion sect had always been against the Heavenly Court. Because of the Permethaw's order, they kept chasing after the Heavenly Court to find out the secrets of the Heavenly Court. According to the Heavenly Court's guess, the Heavenly Court was very likely the place where the great emperors in the god realm slept or recuperated. It must be broken. It seemed that the Heavenly Court's guess was right. A great emperor from the Heavenly Court had come out. Is your strength already so weak to such an extent? It seems that losing half of your body has a great impact on you, the Empress said in a deep voice. Her voice was very pleasant to the ears, but there was mockery in it. Everyone's pupils shrank. Someone dared to laugh at the green-robed great emperor. The green-robed great emperor's face changed. "It's you? You're still alive?" He was really shocked. The Empress smiled. "You can live with half of your body. Why can't Ben Huang live?" "Humph, so what if you're alive? I'll let you die today." The green-robed great emperor suddenly attacked. The immortal chi on his body spread out and turned into a terrifying immortal light. He charged forward. He wanted to kill Lin Xian and the others. Lin Xian's face turned cold. The Empress snorted coldly. "How dare you play such tricks in front of me? Do you want to die?" She slapped out her jade-like hand with a terrifying power. It seemed like a fire snake was roaring. She charged directly to the 9 heavens. With a boom, heaven and earth shook. This palm actually penetrated the immortal chi and sent the green-robed great emperor's huge body flying. In the next moment, the Empress's body was blooming with flames. It was very bright, forming a sea of fire. She rose into the air and left the tomb of the great emperor. "Since we're going to fight, then let's be thorough. Don't let the power of the soul emperor restrain me." Her voice reverberated throughout the universe. Chapter 57:22. Heavens, the green-robed great emperor was sent flying? The people of the chosen immortal clan were terrified. The people of the Purple Mansion were also shocked. The newly arrived great emperor was actually this terrifying. Murong Qingcheng and the others were also shocked. The Empress was really powerful. The toad said, "Of course, Your Majesty. It's not a problem to beat that frog." He was very confident. Lin Xian used his Rinnegan to observe. However, he could only see two blurry balls of energy. A ball of immortal qi and a ball of divine fire had already shot up to the sky and collided. Each collision shattered the sky and earth and spread thousands of miles. Any boundary emperor would definitely die if they were enveloped by that power. The great emperor was really too powerful. It was unimaginable. The two great emperors fought from the sky to the ground, and then from the ground to the clouds. The battle between the divine fire and immortal qi was very terrifying. However, everyone could see that the green-robed great emperor was at a disadvantage. The green-robed great emperor was screaming in anger. This shocked the people of the otherworld heavenly king. The green-robed great emperor was being suppressed. It was unbelievable. On the divine union side, the toad said, "Your Majesty just woke up and her power hasn't reached its peak. Otherwise, defeating this frog would be very easy. It would be too easy." The Crimson Dragon and the others were even more shocked. This was an existence that came out of the heavenly court. They didn't know how much more terrifying power the heavenly court had. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He looked behind him and saw the people who followed him. Their faces were covered in blood, and their bodies were injured. Some families didn't even have half of their people left. He clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. "Everyone, I'll avenge you." After that, he turned around and drew his sword, roaring, "Follow me and kill." He rushed out and attacked the Purple Mansion and the otherworld heavenly king. "Let's go." Morong Ching Chung and the others followed. The Hellfire Dragon led the remaining black demons and rushed over. Kaiser Blood, Mandela, and the Boundary Emperors all took a deep breath when they saw this. They swore to follow Lin Gongzi to death. With their remaining strength, they also soared into the sky. In the distance, the people from the monarch clans and the chosen immortal clan were all watching the battle between the two great emperors. Although they couldn't see clearly, this was a once-in-a-lifetime battle. Who had seen two great emperors? The Purple Mansion realm and the Permitha realm were also nervous as they watched the green-robed great emperor's battle. It was about what they were going to do next. Suddenly, they saw a flash of light. A beam of sword qi slashed down from the sky. In an instant, dozens of experts in the immortal sword were sent flying. Then he threw out another punch. Flames surged into the sky, sending dozens of experts of the 10,000 Sabers sect flying. "Damn it, Lin Wudi." When the Purple Mansion's mansion master saw this scene, he shouted angrily. The other party actually dared to attack. The experts from the Nirvana realm were furious as well. This was especially true for the Myriad Saber Old Ancestor and the White Robe Old Ancestor. "You still dare to be impudent in front of me? Do you think that without the green-robed Great Emperor, we can't do anything to you? Kill." They quickly took action. The White Robe Old Ancestor shot out a monstrous sword light that swept through the 9 heavens. Lin Xian's qi and blood surged, and his 9-yang divine body was penetrated. However, he waved his hand, and a black vortex enveloped him. The power of the devouring heaven jar protected him. Previously, they had used up most of their strength in the battle against Lin Xian. However, they still had some left. Now that he was facing the White Robe Old Ancestor, Lin Xian directly used it. Indeed, he wouldn't show mercy to his opponent. The devouring heaven jar was thrown out, and the black vortex suddenly exploded. Lin Xian's body was split open with sword qi. However, he couldn't care less about anything. Seeing this scene, the White Robe Old Ancestor's expression changed. He turned around and left. A pair of sword qi wings on his back turned into white wings and danced wildly. His speed was extremely fast. However, the devouring heaven jar was even more terrifying. This time, Lin Xian also used a lot of power, causing some of the trees on the ship to stop growing. This time, the devouring heaven jar engulfed the white-robe old ancestor. Not only that, but the 10,000 powerhouses in the Immortal Sword sect were also engulfed. Their faces were filled with despair. Those who kill the disciples of the divine union will be killed without mercy. Lin Xian's cold voice rang out. The devouring heaven jar fell heavily. Miserable cries rang out. It was like the scythe of the Grim Reaper. The black vortex kept reaping. The 10,000 powerhouses in the Immortal Sword sect couldn't resist at all. The white-robe old ancestor's wings also shattered. He was enveloped by the black vortex, and half of his body instantly disappeared. No matter how strong he wasn't a match for an extreme-grade weapon. No, you can't kill me. The Green Robe Emperor is nearby. If you kill me, you'll die too. Lin Xian sneered, unmoved. One day, I'll make the Green Robe Emperor accompany you in hell. I swear. With that, the devouring heaven jar shone again. The white-robe old ancestor had fallen. The 8-crowned king had been torn to pieces. The 10,000 powerhouses of the Immortal Sword sect were also killed by the devouring heaven jar. Blood rained down from the sky, and the broken corpses scattered all over the ground. It turned into a hell. Everyone looked at the scene in horror. The power of an extreme-grade weapon was really too strong. Although Lin Xian had been suppressed by the Green Robe Emperor, previously other than the Emperor, who could block the attack of an extreme-grade weapon. Boom! Lin Xian landed, and the devouring heaven jar was kept by him. His face was pale, and his body was trembling. This time, he didn't have any strength left. Using an extreme-grade weapon again had consumed too much energy. However, he had killed the 8-crowned king in one move and the 10,000 powerhouses of the Immortal Sword sect. The effect was absolutely shocking. He looked at the blood descendants and said, "I've taken revenge for you, Lord Lin's son." The eyes of the blood ancestor and the others turned red. They were both frightened and grateful. At this time, the Soul Emperor's power attacked Lin Xian. This was Lin Xian's punishment for using an extreme-grade weapon. Yen Ryu had been waiting for a long time. She opened the Green Lotus and protected Lin Xian and the others, withstanding the attack. She spat out a mouthful of blood. Lin Xian quickly injected her with the heavenly spring of life to recover her body. Then, he also swallowed the spirit fruit in the sword world to quickly recover his strength. At the same time, he said, "Qing Cheng, destroy the 10,000 Sabers sect." Qing Cheng formed a seal, and the phantom of the 7-colored phoenix appeared. The dozens of storage rings on her body shattered. At the same time, the Hellfire Dragon urged the Black Demon race and the remaining people in the Killing Soul sect. They gave all their power to the Desolate Tower. The Desolate Tower enlarged, suppressing heaven and earth, and attacked the 10,000 Sabers sect and the people of the 10,000 Sabers sect. No, the 10,000 Sabers sect turned and fled. After seeing the whereabouts of the White Robe ancestor and the Immortal Sword sect, he didn't dare to resist. However, the Desolate Tower was also an extreme-grade weapon. With one attack, it suppressed the 10,000 sabers of the 10,000 Sabers sect, another powerful sect in the depths of the deity ground. Here, they turned into ashes. Yen Ryu used the Green Lotus to help Qing Cheng block the Soul Emperor's punishment. Lin Xian looked into the distance and said coldly, "It's not over yet. One day, I will kill my way into the depths of the deity ground and completely destroy the Immortal Sword sect and the 10,000 Sabers sect." His cold voice made the scalps of the surrounding chosen immortal clan tingle. He was really a killing god. Chapter 57:23. Lin Xian waved his hand and summoned Qingcheng, Ryu, and the Crimson Dragon. They were all brought into the sword world. Then they absorbed the power of heaven and earth and the power of the divine fist to recover quickly. Before long, they walked out again. At this moment, they had recovered most of their strength. The sword world was too magical. It surprised Qingcheng and the others. What kind of world was this? Why did it feel more mysterious than the deity ground? After Lin Xian and the others recovered, they still strode forward and charged toward the Z Mansion. The people of the Z Mansion were stunned. Damn it, wasn't he powerless? How did he recover? The Mansion Lord of the Z Mansion also had an ugly expression. What other treasures did Lin Wuti have? To be able to heal his seriously injured body so quickly. Although he had not reached the peak, he had already given her a huge threat. No, Senior of the Nirvana realm, please save me. At this moment, the 10,000 saber ancestor and the white-robed ancestor were dead. However, these 8 crowned kings were also in a very miserable state. Everyone was injured, and none of them were unharmed. The 2 extreme attacks just now were not enough. Not only were 2 8-crowned kings dead, but a group of 7 crowned kings from the Nirvana realm had also fallen. The other 8 crowned kings fled very quickly. However, they were still seriously injured. Everyone was seriously injured, and now they could not use half of their strength. The Mansion Lord of the Z Mansion was afraid, and quickly took out the dragon pattern cauldron to defend. At the same time, she called out, "Green-robed ancestor, save me. Please, save my life. My father will thank you." Far above the 9 clouds, the green-robed ancestor, who was fighting, felt the fall of the Nirvana realm powerhouses below. He was also crazy. A small ant dared to attack the Nirvana realm. At this moment, he threw out a ball of green energy, which turned into poisonous gas that covered the sky and enveloped Lin Xian. However, halfway, he was blocked by the Empress. At the same time, the Empress's cold voice sounded, "Green-robed ancestor, fight for me. How dare you use such a despicable method? Do you want to die? Also, do you think I won't?" As she spoke, a jade-like hand attacked the Z Mansion. At this moment, the divine fire on the palms of the gods was extremely terrifying and fell. No, the injured 8 crowned kings from the Higan Riverbank Pagoda were going crazy. They glared at Si Rua, wishing they could crush her. This palm even enveloped them. Run! The injured 8 crowned king quickly fled. However, before he could even take to the air, he was pierced by the divine fire, and his soul was destroyed. In the blink of an eye, the injured 8 crowned kings had fallen. The people of the Z government also let out miserable shrieks as they were hit by the palm. Nobody could block the palm of the great emperor. The Purple Mansion Lord entered the dragon pattern cauldron. Long Wending was beaten into a pulp. Her body split open and turned into a sea of blood. His soul had also been severely damaged. She screamed crazily. This time, she finally experienced the danger that Lin Xian and the others had faced. Even if one had an extreme weapon, they wouldn't be able to block the attack of a great emperor. Not to mention, she didn't have as many trump cards as Lin Xian. It was already extremely fortunate that he was still alive. You actually didn't die. You're ZG's daughter, right? The Empress sensed Si Rua's aura, and her face darkened. She still wanted to attack. However, the green-robed great emperor rushed forward. "I'm your opponent. The losses this time were too great." How was he going to explain it when he returned? Was she injured? Lin Xian raised his sword and rushed forward, wanting to kill Zi Rua once and for all. Zi Rua controlled the dragon pattern cauldron and kept fleeing. Morong Qingcheng, Yan Ryu, and the others were also attacking her from all sides. They were about to fall into despair. However, at this moment, something strange happened again. Roar! a huge creature rushed over and blocked the attacks of Yenryu and the others. The sky was filled with frost and terrifying lightning. There was also a storm that swept over. Yenryu and the others were also shocked by the impact. Lin Xian shouted coldly, "Nothing can stop me." The phantom of the demon emperor appeared behind him. He punched through the huge creature with a single punch. Miserable shrieks rang out as the creature was smashed into pieces. However, it quickly reassembled and recovered. "Despicable brat, it's you?" There was a crazy roar. Lin Xian looked forward and frowned. "It's you?" He also recognized that this huge creature was none other than the Cerberus. He had met it at the Broken Soul Cliff before. But why was it here? The two sides confronted each other. Ziruo was also stunned. "I was saved by the Cerberus." However, at this moment, a figure walked out and said in a deep voice, "Don't worry, I'll save you. You're ZG's daughter. He'll thank me for saving you." "You know my father?" Ziruo exclaimed. She felt that she had found hope. Lin Xian frowned. "Who else is there? Get out of here." Demonic qi exploded. The monstrous demonic qi engulfed Lin Xian. Although he had the jade pendant on him at this moment, he couldn't care less. He seemed to have turned into a demon god. The demonic qi surged. Who dared to interfere with his business at this moment? In front of him, a young man in a battle robe walked over. He had a delicate face. However, his actions were very strange. It was because he was carrying something, an ancient coffin, an ancient bronze coffin. Moreover, it had 3 layers. It was very strange. Seeing this scene, the people from the great emperor families and the chosen immortals clan frowned. They felt uneasy. Yenryu, Qingqing, and the others also frowned. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. Did this thing come out too? He and Shun Jingqiu had fought against the ancient bronze coffin together. Shun Jingqiu even got a piece of jade from it. He didn't expect that someone would bring the 3 lives coffin out. Who is he? Is he also from the otherworld heavenly king? Who are you? Lin Xian pointed his sword forward. The young man with the 3 lives coffin smiled. "Listen, my name is Xiao Xian. I'm from the otherworld heavenly king." As expected, Lin Xian stabbed with his sword like a peerless god of death. The Shura sword technique stabbed in. He attacked 5 times in a row. Xiao Xian's body shook, and the 3 lives coffin on his back acted as a shield. Clanking sounds were heard, and flames danced. The Shura sword hit the 3 lives coffin. All of them were sent flying. Xiao Xian's body shook, and he turned around again. "What a fierce sword technique. You're very powerful. I didn't expect there to be such a talent from the otherworld heavenly king." "Humph." Lin Xian snorted. Since he was from the otherworld heavenly king, he wouldn't let him go. The demon god's seal flew out. At the same time, the great destruction spear in his hand flew out and stabbed forward. All kinds of divine powers were used. Xiao Xian appeared and disappeared mysteriously. He blocked all the attacks with the 3 lives coffin on his back. Then he said, "You're very interesting. You're worthy of being my opponent. But now, I don't have time to deal with you." As he spoke, he threw the ancient coffin heavily onto the ground. Then he opened the first layer of the coffin with his right hand. There was a pale corpse sleeping in it. Xiao Xian clapped his hand on the 3 lives coffin. Immortal technique, 3 lives fate. As his voice fell, the 24 pitch-black ancient coffins in the surroundings also began to shake. Then, the energy on them quickly gathered. That black eyeball. It instantly flew into the 3 lives coffin. Chapter 57-24. Looking at this scene, everyone was stunned. Even Lin Xian's pupils contracted. Just a moment ago, he had sensed a mysterious aura emitting from the 3 lives coffin. It was something he had never felt before. This energy was so terrifying that it surprised him. When he wanted to attack again, it was already too late. The black eye had already flown into the coffin. However, Lin Xian still attacked with his sword. This sword strike struck the 3 lives casket and knocked it back. Xiao Xian broke through the void with the 3 lives coffin and retreated far away. His eyes shone with cold light. "Kid, what's your name?" "Lin Wudi. Give me the hell path." "Lin Wudi? What an arrogant name. I'll remember you. You're a very powerful opponent. However, today is not a good day to fight. After I complete my mission, I'll find you and fight you myself." Xiao Xian's voice rang out. Then the ground under his feet began to crack, forming a swamp and swallowing him up. At the same time, he sank with him. And the 3 lives coffin. "Do you want to leave?" Lin Xian frowned. With a wave of his hand, countless strands of Qian Kuan's sword qi flew out. The Cosmos Sword Array. Lin Xian formed the array with his mind and charged toward the sky. However, Xiao Xian was extremely strange. He had actually disappeared. Only the ground shattered and countless cracks appeared. Did he leave? Lin Xian frowned. He used his Rinnegan and found that he couldn't sense the energy of the hell path. The Crimson Dragon also flew over and said, "Kid, I can't sense that guy. He didn't leave through the array." It was a wonderful immortal spell. To think that the Higan Heavenly King also had such a top-notch genius. This surprised Lin Xian. This time, Xiao Xian suddenly appeared with the 3 lives coffin and took the hell path. This wasn't good news. At the same time, he looked up into the distance. He didn't know what was going on with the Empress. How was it? As the purgatory path disappeared, the corpse puppets in the surroundings all fell to the ground. Now that there were no more threats around them, the others heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, the green-robed great emperor was stunned when he saw Xiao Xian. Then, when he saw what happened, he was relieved. That way, then he would be able to fight with all his might. The Empress was also surprised. Had the 3 lives coffin and the hell path been taken away? She harumphed coldly. With a wave of her hand, she took out a jade rui and aimed it at the green-robed martial monarch. The green-robed great emperor's face turned green. "Why do you have this thing?" He roared at the sky and unleashed a peerless immortal technique. Green Shadow Immortal Track. The green immortal chi on its enormous body suddenly burst out and turned into countless shadows, charging at Qin Nan. This was the power of a great emperor. It was as if the sky was pressing down on him. The Empress raised the jade scepter in her hand and said softly, "Rui, Rui, break." Above the jade scepter, tens of thousands of rays of light bloomed, enveloping the heavens and realms. The green shadows that filled the sky were all pierced through. Amidst this, a miserable shriek rang out. The green-robed great emperor was also pierced through, and there was emperor blood dripping from his body. A drop of blood collapsed the heavens and realms, and a large number of saints and quasi-emperors below died. The entire deity ground was about to be pierced through. Damn it! The green-robed great emperor roared crazily. He leaped high and turned around to escape. "Just you wait. When I fully recover my body, I will fight you again." Under his feet, there was an endless gust of wind, and he instantly disappeared. The Empress didn't chase after him. She put away the jade rui. She said coldly, "He ran quite fast." She looked down again and frowned slightly. The hell path had disappeared. The young man just now was not simple. He even brought the 3 lives coffin with him. Thinking of this, she swung her snake tail and turned to fly into the distance. Soon, she returned to the Soul Emperor's ancient tomb. The powerful emperor's throne swept in all directions. Everyone prostrated on the ground again. "Greetings, great emperor." Even the people from the imperial clans all bowed respectfully. Lin Xian and the others did the same. The Empress looked over. The people on the other side had been dealt with. Only a few escaped, and she didn't care. You? Her gaze fell on Lin Xian with a trace of surprise. She felt that the young man in front of her had the power of the divine fire and the power of immortal energy. Want to walk the path of immortals? She was extremely surprised. The toad flew over and said, "Empress, this is the kid I told you about. Greetings, senior." Lin Xian also cupped his fists respectfully. The Empress nodded slightly and said, "Young man, the path you are walking is extremely dangerous. Are you sure you want to continue?" Lin Xian said, "Senior, if you want to defeat the other side, you have to use an extreme method. So, I plan to try this path. I don't dare to say that I will succeed, but as long as there is a glimmer of hope, I won't give up." Good. He was confident. The Empress nodded. She turned around and looked into the depths of the ancient tomb. She felt the power of summoning. It seemed that the Soul Emperor's inheritance was about to come out. As she spoke, she flew forward. The divine bridge under her feet spread out, and the great Tao opened. Countless laws, all prostrated on it. "Let's go, let's hurry up and follow." The toad and the others were extremely happy as they flew forward. Lin Xian and the others also followed. As for the others, they all had looks of envy on their faces. However, they didn't dare to move at all. Even the people of the Emperor clan shook their heads and sighed. But at this moment, the Empress in front of them said softly, "The tomb of the Emperor is fated. You can all come over." The Gu family, Yi family, and the others were stunned. The next moment, they were ecstatic. "Thank you, senior." They hurriedly followed. Even the kneeling chosen immortal clan stood up, their faces full of excitement. This great emperor felt different. The previous green-robed great emperor was so domineering, and this great emperor actually allowed them to follow. The toad said unhappily, "Empress, why did you let them come over and steal our good fortune?" The Empress said these people were not from the otherworld heavenly king, so why not give them a chance? If one or two of them grew up in the future, perhaps they could become the power to resist the other side. Everyone was shocked. The Empress also said so. Yen Ruyu asked, "Senior, is the other side really that terrifying?" The Empress glanced at Yen Ruyu and said, "You are the descendant of the Qing Emperor, right? The other side is very terrifying, so powerful that you can't imagine. The Lord of the Nirvana Shore was even more terrifying. Back then, many great emperors fell in his hands." After hearing this, everyone was even more shocked. The Lord of the Nirvana Shore. How powerful was he? The Empress said, "However, in that battle, we attacked at all costs. He should have also been seriously injured. Now, I don't know if he has fully recovered. However, just half of his strength. It was already enough to make people tremble. So when dealing with the other side, we must not be careless." Lin Xian and the others took a deep breath. The toad asked curiously, "Who is the Lord of the Nirvana Shore? Is he as powerful as you, Empress?" There was disdain in his words. However, as soon as his voice fell, thunderclouds suddenly condensed in the sky, and terrifying thunder was about to fall. The toad was startled. "Damn, what did I do?" Chapter 57:25. Those thunderbolts, with an extremely strong aura of destruction, descended. The toad was startled. He couldn't resist it. The Empress waved her hand and shot out a ray of immortal energy, which shattered the thunderbolts in the sky. She said, "The Lord of the Nirvana Shore controls heavenly punishment. Moreover, her strength is terrifying to the extreme. In this immortal land, you'd better not speak ill of her." Was she that terrifying? The toad was stunned. "Can I even speak ill of her?" The Empress shook her head. "You are too weak. If you reach my realm, you can scold her however you want. Damn, the toad suddenly lost his temper. The great emperor realm, to him, that was extremely far away. The group talked as they walked and finally came to the front. In front of them, there was a huge array. Azure dragon, fierce tiger, vermilion bird, and black tortoise. The four divine beasts circled around, forming a four divine beasts array. There were some places on the array that were dim. Obviously, the green-robed great emperor and the others had attacked them before. However, they didn't break it. What a terrifying array. After Lin Xian and the others arrived, they were also amazed. The other big families also took a deep breath. They felt that the soul suppression here was even more terrifying. Inside the array should be the Soul Emperor's ancient coffin. Countless people looked into the distance. The light of reincarnation in Lin Xian's eyes also bloomed. He did see that there was an ancient coffin floating there, the soul aura on it. Even his Rinnegan felt frightened. That was the aura of the great emperor. Senior, do you want to break this array? Lin Xian asked. The empress also said, we do need to break it, but we are waiting for someone. Waiting for who? Everyone was stunned. The empress waved her hand. Her divine fire passed through the void. It disappeared. In another space, the daughter of the Soul Emperor felt this aura and her complexion changed. However, when she felt the aura of Lin Xian and the others, her brows twitched. She followed the immortal energy and rushed out. You are here too? The Soul Emperor's daughter, Han Xianxian, looked at Lin Xian and said quickly. Lin Xian was also surprised. You are here too. This is your father's tomb, right? Han Xianxian nodded. That's right. After saying this, she looked at the empress and respectfully clasped her hands together. Greetings, senior, the empress said. With your bloodline and my divine fire, you can open the four divine beasts array. Next, the two worked together, and the four divine beasts formation shook violently. Then, a passage. Everyone walked in. Of course, the people, a few, the reason for that was because the others were simply unable to withstand the oppressive might of their souls. The great emperor of the great Emperor Zesla's time, in the Dragon Emperor's tomb, they did not make it to the end. Of them, someone was unwilling to give up. Gritting his teeth, he activated his powerful aura to form a defensive barrier before walking in. However, even with this being the case, not all of the imperial clans were allowed to enter. Only the elites of the imperial clans were allowed to enter. The other members of the emperor clans still had to wait outside. You can also wait outside. Lin Xian only brought a few people in. He released the aura of the sky-swallowing jar and let it float beside him. Han Xianxian looked forward, her eyes red. Father! She walked forward. The ancient coffin in front of her felt her bloodline and let out a rumbling sound. In the next moment, a phantom appeared. Daughter, you are here. It was a majestic figure in the form of a soul. It was a trace of the Soul Emperor's soul mark. He seemed to be waiting for soul traction. When he saw his daughter, he smiled with relief. However, in the next moment, his expression changed as he stared at the Empress. It was the aura of a great emperor. He didn't expect a great emperor to come to his ancient coffin. How could he not be shocked? The Empress said, Don't worry, I'm not from the Nirvana realm. I won't be overbearing and snatch your things. Give whatever inheritance you have to your daughter. I'm just here to take a look. Hearing that she wasn't from the Nirvana realm, the Soul Emperor heaved a sigh of relief. In the next moment, he said, Daughter, I have an inheritance for you. This is my Book of Soul Tao. An ancient book flew over. The material was very strange. It was covered with the Soul Emperor's immortal spells. After Han Xianxian got it, her eyes turned red, and she shed tears. Father, are you really dead? The Soul Emperor said, There are only some remnant souls left. This Book of Soul Tao is my inheritance. It is also an extreme weapon. It can protect your safety. Everyone was envious, but no one dared to make a move. Lin Xian was also surprised. The Book of Soul Tao was very similar to the previous book of Heavenly Tao. However, their auras were different. Moreover, the Book of Heavenly Tao could seal the Nirvana realm. It must be even more terrifying. There is one more thing, the Soul Emperor said. Everyone was surprised. Besides the Soul Emperor's inheritance, there was another thing. What was it? They were even more curious. Even Hun Qianqian was anxious. The Soul Mark waved his hand, and a crack appeared on the ancient coffin. A bone flew out from inside. That bone was very terrifying. As soon as it appeared, it crushed the 9 heavens and 10 lands, making countless people tremble. Even the Empress's expression changed. Flames erupted from her body, and there was an extremely terrifying divine fire dancing in her eyes. It could make a great emperor so nervous. One could imagine how terrifying this bone was. Whose bone was this? Who wanted to be resurrected? The Empress's voice was extremely cold. It was the Dizun. The Soul Emperor said in a deep voice, I am responsible for guarding her hand bone. Now that my ancient tomb has been breached, it is not safe to stay here. If the people of the Nirvana realm come, they will take her away. So I hope you can take this bone away. The Dizun was him? The Empress frowned and said he was indeed unwilling to accept this. Lin Xian was even more shocked. The Dizun. He was no stranger to this name. He had heard of her. She was the person who founded the Yuhua, immortal dynasty. He even saw a phantom of the Dizun. What did she want to do? Did she want to be resurrected? It was incredible. If you are not from the Nirvana realm, then you should be from the God realm. Although the Dizun is not one of you, she is also an enemy of the Nirvana realm. If she is resurrected, it will be very beneficial to you. So I don't think you will refuse. I know. After the Empress took it, she immediately used her divine fire to seal the bone. But at the same time, she gave it to Lin Xian. She said, little guy, take it. If my guess is correct, you should be related to the people of the Yuhua immortal dynasty. Find a chance to give it to them. They will owe you a favor. Me? Lin Xian was stunned. Even the Soul Emperor's soul mark was stunned. When he looked at Lin Xian, he said, you are too naive. He is just a 5-crown king. With such a cultivation base, I am afraid he can't keep this hand bone. The Empress said, he is not an ordinary 5-crown king. He is our hope. After the Soul Emperor's soul mark heard this, he was completely stunned. The other party was their hope? This was too incredible. He looked at Lin Xian carefully, and then he was surprised. The aura of the Rinnegan, the 9-yang body, the great dragon sword, and a trace of monstrous demonic energy. This young man had so many secrets. What shocked him even more was that he felt an aura even more terrifying than these things. Chapter 57:26. Lin Xian's aura shocked him too much. It was as if he was facing Permitha. Could it be? He didn't think any further. However, he already knew that the young man in front of him was extremely extraordinary. Hun Qianqian also said, Father, Lin Gongzi is very powerful. He even gave me a treasure. You know him? The Soul Emperor was even more surprised. He said, all right, young man, keep this hand bone first. You can't let Permitha take it away. Right? You're only a 5-crown king now. You're too weak. Let me help you. As the Soul Emperor spoke, he waved his hand, and a vast strength appeared. At the same time, endless laws and immortal energy in the Soul Emperor's tomb rushed toward Lin Xian. It enveloped him, turning him into a cocoon of light. Boom, boom, boom. The immortal energy seed in Lin Xian's body erupted. The power of laws also increased. He broke through to 6-crown king. What a strong power. Lin Xian felt that his overall strength had increased several times. His Rinnegan also seemed to have become stronger. Thank you, Senior. Lin Xian was overjoyed. The Soul Emperor's mark nodded. Its light began to dim. All right, you can leave. Daughter, you should leave too. I don't have much strength left. It won't be long before the people of Permitha arrive. Perhaps my coffin will be torn apart by them. He laughed bitterly. Father! Han Qianqian cried again. Permitha was too arrogant. The Empress frowned. She said, I'll help you. I'll take your coffin away. I'll send it to a place where Permitha can't find you. Perhaps one day you can reappear in this world. Really? The Empress pointed at Lin Xian. She hoped that the real reincarnation sword would appear on him. The Soul Emperor sighed. I feel that the hell path is gone. Otherwise I could give it to you. Lin Xian said. It was taken by Permitha. The Soul Emperor's complexion changed. What a pity. In the past, I obtained a portion of Little Six Path's strength. He condensed the Hell Dao and wanted to go to the 9 underworlds, but he failed in the end. Now that the Otherworld Heavenly King had obtained it, they would definitely seize the 9th underworld. You have to be careful about that. However, this is the Hell's Writ that I obtained back then. There is also a portion of the Hell Paths or on it. I'll give it to you. Perhaps it will be useful. He handed the infernal order to Lin Xian. After Lin Xian received it, he could indeed sense the power of the path of hell from it. The Soul Emperor said, Thank you for your trouble, fellow Taoist. I hope that one day I can be resurrected and fight the world again. His soul slowly entered the ancient coffin. The Empress waved her sleeve and shot out a divine flame, which formed a divine flame gate. It shrouded the other party in the ancient coffin. Then he said, Higgin, you won't let this go. Let's go. Although there were still some hidden treasures in the Soul Emperor's tomb. They were still there. But with the disappearance of the Soul Emperor's coffin, everything was sealed. No one would be able to seize it. With a wave of her hand, the Empress brought all of them out. In the next moment, the Soul Emperor's tomb closed again. Han Qianqian looked lonely. Lin Xian said, Don't worry. If I can really condense the reincarnation sword again, I will let your father reappear in this world. Thank you, Lin Gongzi. If you need me, I will help you. Han Qianqian gave Lin Xian the soul bell. When she was needed, Han Qianqian would appear. Then she left. Empress, where are we going next? The toad asked. The Empress looked into the distance and said, I'm going to take a walk in this deity ground. You don't have to follow me. Lotus flowers bloomed under her feet, and divine flames filled the sky. She turned into a stream of light and disappeared. Empress, the toad knelt on the ground and kept prostrating. Farewell, Empress. The others all saluted and saw the great emperor off. Young man, get ready. Next, you may need to go to hell. The Empress's voice rang in Lin Xian's ears. Lin Xian raised his eyebrows. Hell! He had indeed been there before. However, what was the 9 Serenities place that the other party had mentioned? He wanted to ask, but he found that the Empress had disappeared. Let's go. Lin Xian took a deep breath and led the members of the Divine Union away quickly. The other families could only leave. This time, everyone had suffered heavy losses. However, they had also gained something. Even if they didn't get any treasures, they had walked around the great emperor's tomb. The pressure of the great emperor could also temper them and give them new insights. Therefore, some quasi-emperor powerhouses were preparing to go into seclusion to see if they could take the opportunity to break through. The Empress was right. The green-robed great emperor had made a comeback. He was unwilling to accept this. Although he had been injured by the Empress last time, he had returned not long after. He tore open the great emperor's tomb and killed his way in. However, he found that the Soul Emperor's ancient coffin had disappeared. He roared in anger, shattering all of the mountains in the surrounding space. The Soul Emperor's ancient tomb was also shattered by him. Damn it, Damn it! The green-robed great emperor roared crazily. He had failed the mission this time. If he went back, he would definitely be punished. No, the green-robed great emperor didn't dare to be punished. He had to redeem himself. Suddenly, he remembered something. The hell path was in the hands of that kid. He turned into a stream of light and left. At the same time, the great emperor's soul covered the sky and began to search. At this moment, the people of the immortal soul realm trembled in fear and prostrated on the ground. Lin Xian was the same, as if he was facing a great enemy. He directly entered the sword world. Because he felt the aura of the green-robed great emperor, the other party had returned. Moreover, the soul spread out, obviously looking for someone. Was he looking for him? He didn't know. Therefore, he hid in the sword world and hid. While consolidating his realm, he continued to send out clones to the sword world to dig for treasures. Last time, he had dug out the universe ring. He didn't know what he would be able to dig out this time. The green-robed great emperor's soul appeared several times. Every time, it crushed the heavens and shattered the sky. On the third time, the green-robed great emperor finally found it. His huge body leaped high into the air. He came to the broken soul cliff, and it was the abyss below. He said in a deep voice, "Stop hiding. Get out here." "Greetings, green-robed senior." A young man walked out. It was Xiao Xian. He said, "Senior, why are you looking for me?" "Humph. Kid, hand over the hell path. Also, give me the 3 lives coffin." Xiao Xian frowned and said, "Senior, I got all these. Do you want to steal my credit?" "Don't worry, I won't steal your credit. When I meet the Lord, I will mention your name." "What? Don't you believe me?" Immortal chi spread out from the green-robed great emperor's body. Xiao Xian immediately retreated and spat out a mouthful of blood. He didn't dare. Xiao Xian gritted his teeth and his eyes turned red. "My Xian clan also has a great emperor." "Really? Where?" The green-robed great emperor sneered. "If it weren't for the fact that you are also a member of the Nirvana realm, you would have died 10,000 times by now. What are you unhappy about?" Chapter 57:27. "Fine, I'll give it to you." Xiao Xian gritted his teeth and took out the 3 lives coffin. The hell path was also in it. The green-robed great emperor took it and smiled. "Don't worry, I'll remember your contribution. However, if you dare to tell anyone about what happened today, you know what will happen." As soon as he finished speaking, he leaped high into the air, tore apart the sky, and vanished. "Damn it! I'll teach you a lesson when I become a Dharch." Xiao Xian roared in his heart. He would have made a great contribution if he found those 2 things and returned to the other side. By then, he would be able to obtain all kinds of incredible treasures. Then, the time it would take him to become a Dharch would be greatly shortened. However, the green-robed great emperor had taken them away. He was unwilling to accept it, but there was nothing he could do. "Come with me." Xiao Xian turned around and said to the Cerberus. The Cerberus had no choice but to lie down and become Xiao Xian's mount. With a sway of his body, he disappeared as well. On this day, the powerhouses in the depths of the deity ground were shocked. That was because they sensed the aura of 2 thearchs. The aura of one of the great emperors was extremely faint. It only appeared for a moment and then disappeared. However, some powerhouses of the families still sensed it. They were extremely shocked. The figure was none other than the Empress. She strolled in the deity ground and walked through every corner, feeling very emotional. Then, a cold light burst out of her eyes. She came to the depths of the deity ground, an extremely mysterious and terrifying place. It was extremely quiet. No one came here. There were only the vicissitudes of the land and terrifying forests. Boom, boom. Suddenly, a rumbling sound came from the mysterious place in front of her, and all kinds of terrifying laws shot into the sky. That power was extremely terrifying. Is it the heavenly land? The Empress took a step forward and entered the mysterious place. At the same time, a pressure like the heavenly land surged over. An armor appeared on the Empress's body to block it. A rumbling sound was heard. At the same time, a loud voice came from the depths of the heavenly land. Who's there? At the same time, a terrifying aura spread out. Then, a fist pierced through the sky and flew over. The Empress dodged the attack and said, "It's me, Buzz." The sky disappeared, and a stalwart man walked out. The man was incomparably shocked. "You've awakened?" The Empress said, "Lin Zhan, you guys are indeed attacking the celestial land." Lin Zhan said, "Now that Bayan is being held back, this is our best chance. We must take down 2 cities." At the other side, Green Robe, on the other hand, returned to the other side. "Why did you come back by yourself?" The purple-robed ZG was also surprised to see the green-robed Great Emperor return. "It's a long story. I want to see the Lord." Green-robed Great Emperor said. ZG was also stunned. Could it be that something had happened? "I'll tell you when I get back." The green-robed Great Emperor hurriedly flew towards the depths of the other shore. Finally, he arrived at a fairyland-like place. He stopped, clasped his fists, and asked to see the master. Within the immortal realm, 2 boys flew out. They were like immortal children. Just you wait. Their voices were cold. However, the green-robed emperor was not angry at all. This was too inconceivable. He was a great emperor, a high and mighty existence. But at this moment, when facing the 2 children, he seemed to be in awe, which was really shocking. Not long after one of the immortal children left, he returned and said, "You can go in now. You only have half an incense stick's time." The green-robed Great Emperor took a deep breath, and a look of excitement appeared in his eyes. Even though he was a great emperor, it was not easy to see the Lord. After all, the Lord was still in the process of recovering. His body swayed, and he walked in. The boy in front led the way. The green-robed Great Emperor did not dare to be presumptuous. If he took a wrong step here, he would be doomed eternally. They had arrived. The boy in front stopped, and then his body swayed, and he disappeared. The green-robed Great Emperor bowed, respectfully greeting the Lord. In front, clouds were everywhere, and within the clouds, a figure appeared. He seemed to have been standing there since the opening of the sky. Although his figure was blurry, his aura was really too terrifying. Even the green-robed Great Emperor felt his hair stand on end. Even as a martial monarch, he was terrified. One could only imagine how terrifying their master was. The green-robed Great Emperor looked extremely respectful. The person in front was the Lord of the Nirvana Shore. He was the king of emperors. He was a transcendent existence that could sweep through the ages and step on the myriad worlds. He was ranked first on the Great Emperor rankings. No one could defeat him, whether it was in the past or in the future. "What is it?" The figure in front emitted a thunderous voice. The green-robed Great Emperor was even more respectful. He said, reporting to the Lord, "There is a result for the Soul Emperor's tomb." He quickly reported, "Although I failed in the Soul Emperor's tomb, I still obtained some harvests. I obtained the Hell Path, and I also found a 3 lives coffin." 3 lives coffin? Then I can make up for my mistakes. Present it to the Lord. A loud voice sounded out. The green-robed Great Emperor let out a breath of relief. This time, he had entered the Soul Emperor's tomb without any harvests. He should have been punished, but because of the 3 lives coffin, he might be able to make up for his mistakes. This was also why he had tried to forcefully seize it before. With a wave of his hand, the 3 lives coffin appeared, and floated into the sky. In front of him, the mysterious and imposing figure waved his hand. The 3 Lives coffin opened, and a black eyeball flew out from within. It carried with it an aura as cold as hell. The hell path of the lesser 6 paths? Very good. With it, we can attack the 9 Netherlands. Tai Dai nodded. The green-robed great emperor also let out a sigh of relief. This was great. Not only would he not be punished, but he might even be rewarded. 3 Lives coffin, let me see which one it is. Tai Dai waved his sleeve, and the 3 Lives coffin opened completely. The corpse inside appeared. So it was him. Tai Dai said. Suddenly, the corpse at the bottom of the pile opened its eyes. Its eyes were filled with terrifying demonic chi. A demonic shadow rushed out and attacked the corpse. Bang! Demonic energy surged, tearing through the 9 heavens and turning into a demonic seal. This sudden change caused the green-robed great emperor to go crazy. Damn it, how could there be demonic energy? How could it attack the Lord? He roared in horror. At this time, Tai Dai coldly snorted. He stretched out a finger and gently pointed forward. A light flashed, and the entire sky was split in half. Half turned into night, and the other half turned into eternity. With a finger, the demonic energy phantom shattered. Roar! Only a crazy roar could be heard. Tai Dai coldly said, Demon Emperor, you've been dead for so many years, and you're still unwilling? You want to hurt me with just the likes of you? How ridiculous! As the voice sounded, the shattered sky was restored again. The sun and moon rotated, and the stars changed as if nothing had happened. This method was shocking. The green-robed great emperor was completely stunned. That demonic energy belonged to the demon emperor. Back then, the demon emperor was a lunatic. Wasn't he already dead? How could he have set up a trap in the 3 Lives coffin? Damn it, was Xiao Xian tricking him? He was going crazy with anger. At this time, Tai Dai's gaze darkened. Green-robed great emperor, how dare you collude with the demon emperor? The green-robed great emperor was so scared that his body trembled, and he directly knelt on the ground. No, Lord, listen to me, it's not like that. I don't know why the 3 Lives coffin has the power of the demon emperor. Humph! Tai Dai coldly snorted, and his eyes turned into the sun and moon, slashing over. The green-robed great emperor's body shattered into pieces again. He was about to faint from the pain, but he didn't dare to scream. His body knelt down in the air again. My lord, I'm willing to be punished. Please calm down. A dignified great emperor didn't even have the slightest temper in front of his lord. Chapter 57:28. The green-robed great emperor knew how terrifying Grand Supreme was. Therefore, he didn't dare to resist at all. He could only kneel on the ground and beg for mercy. Master, please give me another chance. I'm willing to atone for my sins. All right, I'll give you another chance. Since you've already obtained the hell path, let's head to hell. Let's see if there's a chance to enter the 9 underworlds. Yes, I understand. I'll go now. Master, don't worry. I won't let you down this time. The green-robed great emperor left quickly. He only heaved a sigh of relief after leaving the immortal land. In the next instant, he clenched his fists. There was a black eyeball floating in front of him. It was the hell path. This time, he would bring people to hell. He couldn't afford to make any mistakes. Although the green-robed great emperor left, Grand Supreme didn't disappear. He shouted coldly, "Where's Ice Empress?" In the next instant, a woman surrounded by frost walked over. She bowed respectfully. "Greetings, Master." "Master, what are your orders?" Grand Supreme said, "The green-robed great emperor has already gone to prepare for the 9 underworlds. However, I'm guessing that those people from the deity plane haven't given up. They might have gone to the heavens." Go and check it out. Yes, Ice Empress left quickly after receiving the order. In the sky, Grand Supreme's eyes flashed. His eyes were like the sun and the moon. He said coldly, "Didn't you all die in the previous reincarnation war? So what? No matter how many tricks you have. Only I will never die." The clouds rolled and shrouded him. However, his cold voice was enough to make anyone's scalp go numb. The high heavens was a mysterious place. It was hard to see anyone in this place. However, there was an ancient city standing in this desolate place. The ancient city was built entirely with rocks. It was extremely spacious and mysterious at the same time. What was it? There were a few figures outside the ancient city. Among them were Lin Zhan and the Empress. After hearing what the Empress said, Lin Zhan and the others also frowned. Did they obtain the hell path of the lesser six paths? It seemed like they were going to the 9 underworlds. Should we send people there? Lord Alcohol said. However, Lin Zhan shook his head. No, let's attack this ancient city with all our might now. Our goal is the heavenly land. At this point, if they were to send more forces to the 9 underworlds, they would not be able to obtain anything in the end. The Empress also frowned. However, she couldn't ignore the 9 serenities. If the 9th Netherland falls into the hands of the Nirvana realm, we will have no chance of winning. Lord Alcohol also said, although I can't get the 9th underworld, I can't let Nirvana have it either. Right now, the Book of Heaven's path could still be used as a seal. Therefore, the Otherworld Heavenly King wouldn't send too many people to the 9th Serenity. There were at most 1 or 2 great emperors, so there was still a chance. Lin Zhan thought for a while and said, "Let Xian go. He had a Rinnegan." Lord Alcohol also said, "That little guy?" However, he still had to give him some trump cards. The current hell was no longer the same as before. There were definitely a few Emperor-level characters who had awakened. Bring our presence and find someone to cooperate with. Perhaps we can stop Higgin. All right, I'll go look for little Xian right away. Lin Zhan nodded and soared into the air. The Empress said, "Then I'll take his place and attack this ancient city first. Let's attack and try to take down an ancient city first." Lord Alcohol and the others quickly attacked the mysterious city in front of them. However, the mysterious city was too terrifying. Its primordial aura swept through everything. It seemed that the attacks of the great emperors didn't have much effect on it. On the other side, after Lin Xian and the others left the Soul Emperor's ancient tomb, they didn't completely leave the immortal soul realm. Instead, they found a place to wait quietly for the time being. Everyone went into seclusion to cultivate and consolidate their realms. Lin Xian was also in the Sword World, consolidating his 6-crown king realm while cultivating his heaven-defying art. On this day, he felt a familiar aura descend. It was his father's aura. Lin Xian instantly rushed out of the Sword World. In the next moment, Lin Zhan's figure descended. However, he took Lin Xian away. They arrived in an independent space. Lin Zhan said, "This is a space that I opened up. Our conversation here won't be heard by others." Lin Xian was surprised. "Father, aren't you in the depths of the deity ground? Why are you back? Could it be that something went wrong?" Lin Zhan said, "I already know what happened here. The Hell Tao appeared and was obtained by the Nirvana realm. I'm afraid they will go to hell and seize the 9 underworlds. Go to hell now and stop them." "What is the 9 underworlds?" "Father, what are you doing?" Lin Xian was extremely puzzled. Lin Zhan said, "Xian it's time to let you know something. Heaven and earth are black and yellow. The universe is desolate." This universe was very magical. It had thousands of worlds, including the burial earth and the origin planet. However, this wasn't the most magical thing. "Is the deity ground the most magical thing?" Lin Xian said. Lin Zhan shook his head. "Deity ground is just a saying from the Nirvana realm. The Nirvana realm's master cultivated the immortal Tao. He wanted to control the entire universe. Therefore, he called that land the deity ground. Over the years, more and more people called it the deity ground. Just think of it as the deity ground. In the deity ground, there were a few places that were very magical. For example, the place where the Nirvana realm was located was called the Eternal Land. The entire Eternal Land was occupied by the Nirvana realm. The Nirvana realm's master was also known to be eternal and immortal. It was so terrifying. Lin Xian was completely stunned. The Nirvana realm's master is so powerful. Can such a person really be defeated? Lin Zhan's expression was cold. He said, "However, the Eternal Land is not the only magical place. We are attacking the heavenly land now. It is also very mysterious, and it has terrifying power. The 9 underworlds I mentioned is also the same." Lin Xian was surprised. Are these mysterious places forbidden lands? Lin Zhan shook his head. No, the forbidden lands are just spaces created by the supreme beings of the human world. It's not that magical. The Eternal Land, the Heavenly Land, and the 9 underworlds. They belong to the Jiutian Shidi. The Jiutian Shidi is the most terrifying and mysterious power in the universe. However, legend has it that the Jiutian Shidi has surpassed this universe. Even the Nirvana realm's master can't reach it. In the universe, only the 10 lands exist. The Eternal Land, the Heavenly Land, and the 9 underworlds are all existences in the 10 lands. Other than that, there are others. The world in your body is also one of the 10 lands. What is it? Lin Xian was shocked. He was too surprised. Originally, he thought that although the deity ground had descended, it was very mysterious. However, Lin Xian felt that the God realm in his body was even more mysterious than the deity ground. I see. It's one of the 10 lands. Lin Zhan said, previously, the people of the divine path also had a continent. It was as vast as the deity ground. It was called the God realm. However, in the battle with the Nirvana realm, the God realm was shattered. Chapter 5729. No wonder. The small world in Lin Xian's body used to be desolate and lifeless. Was it because it was damaged in the battle? Lin Zhan said, the divine realm is bigger than the small world in your body. However, the space within your body was the core of the God domain back then. It's equivalent to the Nirvana realm's position in the deity ground. What is it? Lin Xian was surprised. Which of the 10 lands is the sword world in my body? Lin Zhan said, the ancient land. The ancient land? Lin Xian was stunned. This was the real name of this world. Lin Zhan said, actually, the people of the Nirvana realm don't know about the ancient land. They had thought that the ancient land had been destroyed in the battle back then. As a matter of fact, the ancient land of eternity was indeed severely damaged in the previous battle. However, it still survived. Now that it's in your hands, you must protect it well. Lin Xian said, Father, don't worry. As long as I'm alive, I won't let the ancient land be taken away. I'm not worried about this. The people of the Nirvana realm probably won't be able to guess the mysteries of the ancient land. However, the most important thing now is the 9 underworlds. It's also one of the 10 lands. This time, we'll make a comeback and fight against others. The Nirvana realm will definitely kill us. They want to destroy us completely. The Nirvana realm's lord is even more ambitious. He wasn't willing to just have the eternal land. He wants to take over the other mysterious lands. The 9 underworlds might be his first target. Fortunately, we used the Book of Heavenly Tao to seal him. For the time being, they can only send out a small number of forces. This time, at most, there will be 2 great emperors going to the 9 underworlds. Maybe only 1. I'll let you go. You just have to stop them. Do some damage in the dark. Take this medallion. There are some grand emperors in the infernal realm who have awakened. Find one of them and cooperate with them." Lin Zhan instructed Lin Xian. Lin Xian was shocked. He didn't expect the Nirvana realm to have such a mysterious origin. Eternal land, undying and indestructible, an existence with eternal life? How terrifying was the Lord of the Nirvana shore? He felt the pressure, but there was also hope in his heart. This was because the sword whirled in his body was also an ancient land. They weren't any weaker than the eternal land. "Father, where is the 9th underworld?" Hell was very vast. Lin Zhan had been there once before. However, at that time, he had only gone to the 18th level of hell. Furthermore, after entering the first 3 floors, he didn't dare to proceed any further. Lin Zhan said, "The 18th level of hell is the Netherland. However, that place is too terrifying. Before you become a martial emperor, it's best that you don't go there." There were 3 wordless heavenly steels in the 18 layers of hell. One of them was on the 17th layer of hell. Now that he thought about it, Higgin would not be able to get it either. You will obtain the other 2 wordless heavenly steels. If that was the case, even if Higgin had the Naraka path, she would not be able to enter for the time being. All right, Xian there's no time to lose. Hurry up and take action. There are still some things you don't understand. So I put some information about the infernal realm into the command medallion. You can just watch. I have to return to the heavenly land. This time, we must take down the heavenly land. Only then will we have the capital to fight against the Higgin. Lin Xian finally knew what Lin Zhan, Lord Alcohol, and the others were doing in the depths of the deity ground. It turned out that they were attacking the heavenly land. He said, "Father, don't worry. I definitely won't let them succeed." Lin Zhan nodded and removed the space. Then he left. Lin Xian also took a deep breath. He sent a voice transmission to Morong Qingcheng, Yan Ryu the Crimson Dragon, and the others. He told them to continue staying in the deity ground. As for Lin Xian, he was going to go alone this time. After Morong Qingcheng and the others received the news, they all came out of seclusion. "Brother Xian, are you really going alone?" Lin Xian nodded. "It's very dangerous. It's more convenient for me to go alone." The Crimson Dragon said, "Then I'll set up a super teleportation array for you." He began to move the Earth's scripture gold. A huge teleportation gate appeared. Lin Xian walked in and disappeared. Boom. The stars in the universe moved. After an unknown period of time, a spatial gate suddenly appeared in the darkness. Lin Xian walked out of it. At this moment, he had already left the deity ground. He looked up at the deity ground. It was very mysterious. In front of him was darkness. It was extremely dark, like the gate of hell. Lin Xian had been here before. However, the current hell was 100 times more terrifying than before. With the arrival of the deity ground, the entire universe seemed to have become more mysterious and stronger than before. Just in the other planets alone, there were already quasi-emperors. Hell was already very mysterious before. Now, it should be even more terrifying. Just as Lin Xian was about to go in, he found that a lot of auras suddenly rushed out of the gate of hell. It was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian frowned. He was worried that there would be some changes. Therefore, he sped up, turned into a sword light, and rushed in. As soon as he entered, Lin Xian could feel a powerful force sweeping toward him. When it hit his body, it emitted an earth-shaking aura. Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body was too obvious in hell. It was like the sun in the dark night. It attracted the attention of countless people. Therefore, he sighed. He had no choice but to use demonic qi. The monstrous demonic light formed a demonic armor. It enveloped him. At the same time, he dodged and avoided these attacks. These attacks were not aimed at him. In front of him, there was a great battle. Countless figures roared. Some of the white bone creatures were extremely terrifying. They bared their fangs and brandished their claws. There was a powerful aura on them. Among them, there was a white bone figure. It was very terrifying. His body was tens of thousands of meters long. As he danced, it was like a white bone spear. It pierced through everything. It was a dragon, and it was a bone dragon. Lin Xian was shocked. The aura of this bone dragon was at least that of the eight-crowned king. It was extremely powerful. He didn't expect to find such a terrifying existence as soon as he came to hell. The huge bone dragon, along with the endless bone forest, continued to charge forward. On the other side, there were countless cold auras. Those were green hair on the bodies of some monsters. It was very strange. These monsters couldn't be seen clearly. However, when they attacked, they were incomparably cold. The leader was a red-haired man, who also had the strength of the eight-crowned king. Other than that, there was also a cold aura. These people were wearing armor, as if they were ghost soldiers. The huge team kept attacking the three sides, and their strength was increasing. Lin Xian used Rinnegan and saw the other party clearly. They were fighting for a lamp, an incomparably dark lamp. There were black flames on it that were jumping. The death god lamp. Lin Xian didn't recognize it. While he was dodging, he heard the angry roars of some people. For example, those white bone creatures roared, "Follow me and charge for the death god lamp." In addition, the ghost soldiers and red-haired men roared crazily. A great battle erupted in an instant. Lin Xian came to hell with a purpose. Therefore, he ignored it. Instead, he found a direction and flew into the distance. However, at this moment, the demonic chi on his body surged. The demonic shadow behind him came out again. Moreover, the demonic shadow automatically left behind Lin Xian and actually charged towards those monsters. It charged towards the death god lamp. Chapter 5730. This sudden turn of events stunned Lin Xian. His brows knitted tightly together. Shen Jingqiu was right. He really couldn't continue cultivating the demon emperor's ancient scripture because he realized that the demonic shadow behind him was getting out of his control. Previously, he was the only one attacking. Now he was out of his control and attacking the group of powerhouses. Lin Xian's expression changed. He ignored it and turned to leave. The new demonic shadow was extremely terrifying. He came to the center of the battle and punched out. The black demonic fist covered heaven and earth. Countless bones were smashed into pieces. Countless people were terrified. Some people shouted angrily, "Damn it, what was that? Who was it? Which force was it from?" They were all crazy. These three forces all had the backing of the great earth realm. Who was this new demonic shadow? They had never heard of a demonic expert reviving. Roar, roar. The bone dragon roared at the sky. The bones on its body released an extremely terrifying cold aura. Its huge body swept in all directions and hit the demonic shadow. The demonic chi on the demonic shadow was tumbling nonstop. However, the demonic silhouette roared at the sky with deep emotions and disdain. There was a trace of Emperor's aura on his body. The demon god's fist became even more terrifying. It was like two divine hammers were sweeping around. The surrounding void shattered endlessly. Even the sky was collapsing. However, the ghost soldiers, vengeful spirits, and the green-furred monsters all rushed over and enveloped the demonic shadow. A great battle broke out in an instant. It was extremely terrifying. Where did this demonic shadow come from? Quickly go and investigate. The bone dragon's voice sounded. It was extremely cold. There were still some powerhouses around. Soon, they found Lin Xian. There's an unknown guy who doesn't belong to us. Kill him. Those people rushed over. Hundreds of figures surrounded Lin Xian. Lin Xian frowned. Get lost. Look at the monstrous demonic aura on your body. Are you with that demonic shadow? A bone ape said coldly. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Get lost. He didn't want to be surrounded by endless powerhouses. He didn't want to be chased down as soon as he appeared, so he quickly attacked. He used the Qianquan sword technique, which used everything in the world as a sword. He immediately attacked the hundreds of skeletal creatures. Those skeletal creatures roared. It's him. Attack. Kill. With an angry roar, they attacked as well. However, the Qianquan sword technique was too terrifying. It directly pierced through the bodies of the skeletal creatures and nailed them in the void. Their bodies kept shattering. Lin Xian took advantage of this opportunity, and a pair of black demonic wings appeared on his back. He turned into an aurora and disappeared. There were also some green-furred monsters chasing after them, and in the distance there were even ghost soldiers galloping on their war horses. However, Lin Xian was very fast, appearing and disappearing like a ghost. He didn't stop attacking, killing everything that got close to it. Gradually, it got rid of its pursuers. Lin Xian's figure flashed and disappeared into a pitch-black mountain range below. After landing, Lin Xian's face turned cold. It seemed that he had to create it as soon as possible. He couldn't use the Demon Emperor's ancient scripture for the heaven-defying art. Moreover, Lin Xian decided to find a way to completely cut off his connection with the demonic shadow. Lin Xian had a bad feeling that the demonic shadow was definitely related to the Demon Emperor. Heaven-defying art, Qianquan sword technique. In addition, Lin Xian was preparing to create movement techniques, defense, recovery, healing, and many other unique skills. He fought along the way, and the great dragon sword soul could evolve thousands of times. It wasn't impossible for Lin Xian to create his own Tao. Next, he went on the road again. There was no longer demonic aura behind him. Instead, countless sword lights condensed to form a pair of sword chi wings. As he waved them, sword lights danced in the sky at an extremely fast speed. Although it couldn't compare to the demon god's wings for the time being, it was still a skill that Lin Xian created himself. It was the most suitable for Lin Xian. It was also the most familiar to him. Therefore, he believed that one day he would be able to surpass the demon god's wings. In the next period of time, Lin Xian continued to travel and create heaven-defying techniques. In addition to sword feathers, Lin Xian's dragon scales flashed under his feet. He could also use the dragon step, which was also extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. In these 3 days, Lin Xian saw countless figures flying above the mountain range. They were obviously fighting for the Death God Lamp. The Death God Lamp carried an extremely terrifying aura of death, and the aura of a great emperor. Obviously, it should be a treasure left behind by an incredible great emperor. However, Lin Xian wasn't in the mood to fight for it. He had to find the 2 wordless heavenly monuments. He took out the token that Lin Xian gave him. Lin Xian's soul shrouded it and checked the situation inside. The 2 wordless heavenly monuments were extremely mysterious. In addition to the wordless heavenly monuments, there was also a mysterious aura. As long as Lin Xian saw it, he would be able to discover it immediately. Seeing this, Lin Xian used his Rinnegan and shrouded the entire area. The area within a radius of 1,000,000 miles was enveloped by him. However, he didn't discover it. This caused many people to roar in anger. Who is it that dares to investigate me? Angry shouts sounded one after another. Under the ground, a rotten palm stretched out. It was actually a death god. It was extremely terrifying and had reached the realm of the 8-crowned king. There was an ancient coffin behind him that had long been torn apart by him. At this moment, he woke up and roared at the sky. There were also these skeleton-like creatures. They were furious. In short, this hell was too terrifying. It was much more terrifying than when Lin Xian came previously. Lin Xian searched as he hurried. 2 days later, Lin Xian stopped. He left 2 more clones in the Sword World, allowing them to continue digging in the Sword World. After all, Lin Xian had sensed the power of the universe ring before. He wanted to dig something out again. In the Sword World, Little White was also there. He placed a green-skinned gourd into the pit that Lin Xian dug and covered it with soil. Then he said with conviction, "Ya, the treasure has become stronger." Lin Xian found it funny and ignored this little guy. While his clones were working, Lin Xian's main body kept searching in hell. After searching for a few days, he still couldn't find the wordless steel. Lin Xian frowned. If he had known, he would have brought the Hellfire Dragon. It wasn't that Lin Xian didn't want to bring him, but after he saw Lin Zhan, he found that the Hellfire Dragon was long gone. He asked. The Crimson Dragon said that the guy left after leaving the tomb of the Great Earth Emperor. He said that he wanted to see the magic of the celestial ground. Little White, look, is there a treasure? Lin Xian grabbed the little guy from the Sword World. Little White was dissatisfied. But not long after, he took out the treasure bowl and began to aim. Treasure, treasure, please show yourself. He kept flying in the air. At the next moment, he waved his little claws. There seemed to be something there. Lin Xian walked over and found that it was a swamp. It was eerie and terrifying. With a wave of his hand, a sword chi split the swamp open. Inside, there was actually a rotten fruit. The fruit was very big as a table, but it was already covered with insects. It was pitch black and rotten. Little White immediately vomited after seeing it. It was too disgusting. He covered his eyes with his little claws. At the same time, outside a few mountains, 2 figures suddenly stood up. Their eyes were shining with a shocking light. What a terrifying, eerie aura. Could it be that a treasure had appeared? Chapter 57:31. Grandpa, the aura over there is so terrifying. A woman soared into the air and looked ahead as she exclaimed in surprise. As she spoke, she flew forward. Behind her, the old man quickly followed. He said, "Luo Luo, be careful. Usually there are powerful monsters guarding the treasures." "Don't worry, Grandpa, I'll be careful. Her name is Luo Luo," the girl said quickly. Her speed was very fast, like a fleeting shadow. Soon she arrived at Changfang. However, in the next moment, she cried out in surprise. "What's going on?" The old man behind her was worried. Could it be that his granddaughter was in danger? Thinking of this, his speed was much faster than before. In an instant, he arrived in front. However, when he looked at the scene in front of him, he was stunned. He was also stunned. There was a swamp in front of him, and there was a peach the size of a table there. The peach was rotten, and poisonous insects were crawling on it. On the other side of the swamp stood a young man. Sword chi circled around his body. Beside him was a little white monkey. "There's someone here, Grandpa," Luo Luo said cautiously. The old man also looked as if he was facing a great enemy. A young man dared to be here alone. He must have some tricks up his sleeve. He looked at the other party warily. Lin Xian ignored him. Instead, he reached out with a flaming palm and grabbed forward. The flaming palm was like the sun as it grabbed the rotten peach. The poisonous insects on it were all reduced to ashes. Lin Xian looked at it and frowned. What a terrifying aura. However, it doesn't seem to suit me. Roar. Suddenly, a deep roar sounded from under the swamp. Following that, a lizard flew out. A cold and gloomy aura was emanating from it. It was Seven Crown King. When she saw this scene, the girl opposite him, Luo Luo, also exclaimed, "Be careful." The old man was even more surprised. He quickly used his law to form a shield in front of him. The terrifying lizard charged toward Lin Xian. Its claws carried an aura of death. Lin Xian snorted coldly. "Get lost." He slapped the lizard away with his palm, which looked like a sun god of war. Then Lin Xian flicked his finger, and a stream of sword chi transformed into a huge dragon, which directly pierced through the lizard. The lizard was pierced through. It frantically fled and drilled into the swamp. Lin Xian sneered. "You want to leave?" Another sword strike was unleashed, turning into a fiery dragon, covering the sky and covering the earth as it charged towards the swamp, tearing it apart. The lizard screamed. In the end, both his body and soul were destroyed. When they saw this scene, the grandfather and grandson opposite them were stunned. Was Seven Crown King killed so easily like this? This young man's methods were too terrifying. The other party was at least a Seven Crown King, or perhaps even more terrifying. Therefore, the two of them acted as if they were facing a great enemy. Lin Xian was very satisfied with this. Previously, he was only the Five Crown King, yet he was already able to contend against the Seven Crown King. Now that his strength had increased to 6 Crown Kings, killing 7 Crown Kings was simply too easy. Now, even if he encountered 8 Crown King, Lin Xian could fight with him, or even defeat him. This was his current strength. "Greetings, Senior." At this moment, Luo hurriedly bowed. Lin Xian said, "I'm not some old monster. Don't call me Senior. Greetings, young master." Luo hurriedly corrected herself. The old man also cupped his fists and said, "Young master, how should I address you?" Lin Xian looked forward. He saw that the woman was a quasi-emperor, 5 Crown King. As for the old man behind him, he had the cultivation of 7 Crown King. He thought that it was probably because he had seen what he could do that caused him to be so terrified. He said, "Don't worry, if you aren't my enemy, I won't attack you." Lin Xian was also surprised. The current hell was indeed different. When he came before, there definitely wouldn't be a quasi-emperor. But now, any random girl he saw was a quasi-emperor. From the looks of it, the infernal realm had undergone tremendous changes as well. As expected of a place with the 9 serenities, he wondered just how miraculous the 9 Netherrealm was. Lin Xian said, "I'm from another universe outside hell. I came here to train, but I got lost." "Where is this place?" "Young master, you're from the outside world." Luo was also surprised. She said, "This is called the Dark Forest. We're from the Luo family in the Dark City next door. My name is Luo, and this is my grandfather." Lin Xian nodded. Then he asked, "Is the 18 levels of hell far from here? Have any great emperor-level figures revived in hell recently? Have other great enemies come?" Luo was stunned. The old man behind, Elder Luo, also said, "The great emperor level is too far away for us. We've never seen them before. However, we know that there are currently 3 great emperors in hell. They are the Underworld Emperor, the Yellow Springs Emperor, and the Bone Emperor. Young master, when you come, you should see many strong masters fighting. They are the subordinates of these 3 great emperors. As for whether there are other great emperors coming, we don't know. Moreover, these 3 great emperors are said to be extremely mysterious. Very few people in hell have really seen them. 3 have already awakened." Lin Xian was surprised as well. This earthly hell was indeed extraordinary. He now knew that there was only one great emperor in each era. However, the universe has experienced too many years. These great emperors didn't die. Some were in a deep sleep. They all woke up in this era. That's why so many great emperors appeared in such a short time. It seemed that he had to find one of the lands and form an alliance with it. As for which one, Lin Xian wasn't sure yet. He didn't dare to act rashly, because the people on the other side might also find the great emperor here to form an alliance. After all, the other side was also in the process of being sealed. If he was looking for the same person as the others, then he would be a sheep in a tiger's mouth. So he had to investigate first. At this time, Luo also said, "Young master, you're from the outside, so you definitely don't know this place. Why don't you come back with me?" The old man's expression also changed. To be honest, he didn't want to bring a stranger back. However, Lin Xian smiled and said, "Okay, in that case, I won't stand on ceremony." He threw the rotten peach to the old man and said, "This is a greeting gift. Really? Give it to me. Thank you." Luo was very happy. The old man was also surprised. This peach, although rotten, was cold and sinister. However, the chilling aura of death it carried was the power that the people of hell desired the most. Even Seven Crown King would be jealous if he saw such a thing. But was the other party like this? He gave it to them so easily. It was really surprising. Now, even if Elder Luo wanted to refuse the other party, he probably couldn't. Therefore, he could only say, "Young master, please." Lin Xian brought Xiaobai with him, following the other party into the distance. Along the way, Luo talked a lot about the dark forest and dark city. At the same time, she was very fond of Little White. What a cute little monkey. She also took out some hell spirit fruits and gave them to Little White. Little White ate happily. Luo and the elder came out. Outside the dark forest, there was a team waiting there. These people had a dark aura on them. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.